Multiplayer. Invite a friend. Uh-huh. Discord. Yes. Alrighty. Yeah, because I'm doing the whole thingamadiggy. Oop. Invite with a guest. Join the queue after accepting your invite. Move guests. Auto add guests to call. This is interesting. So you're in the queue. Love how there's like, you can just skip setup. What does this look like? This is going to be weird.
In your thing? Oh, yeah, stay in current session.
Yeah. So...
you can only participate, leave and join that session.
Alright.
Continue.
Getting ready.
Alright, I'm going to mute the microphone. Boom.
Yep.
Join backstage.
There we go. So now you're in, like... ready to push a guest on your stream. Alright, so...
You're currently backstage. The stream is not gone live, but the host and other guests can see and hear you.
Yeah. So I've not put any of the... I haven't put a guest slot or anything like that into my OBS. So you're just... You're in this, like... You're in this guest star with camera turned off, microphone turned off, and I don't have the source for the guest star in the whatsamahoozy. So, but check it out. Yeah, check it out on my thingamajig. It says GrantZeebs with code _ the Yoshi, and it has like your little icon besides my name.
Hang on, let me have a look.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't pop up on my thingo, but let me have a... Oh, it does too!
Yeah! That's what I wanted to try and do. I think that's cool. I'm just a little annoyed that they're like, oh, Twitch wants to, like, handle the whole voice call thingy-majiggy, and it's like, use a camera for the guest star post. And I'm like, no. Let me share a browser source. Do the thing that OBS Ninja does, which is, let me just share you a random thing.
That's so cool.
It is cool. I love it.
But it doesn't seem... Let me have a look. Let me go back to me.
So, because, alright, share your screen. And then I can tell it to share a Chrome screen or something else entirely. Like, this... Be with us, chat. Like, oh my gosh, Hendrix sees it on their mobile too.
with the 2-month tier 1
but it
sub.
doesn't seem to show up on my channel itself. So it only seems to be on your channel that the stream pops up.
Because I'm hosting like the guest session, but it mentioned that because you've joined it, that it's probably notified your... Like, what happens if you go into, like, say, for example, your stream manager? Does it say anything about being on another thingamajiggy?
Let me have a look. So, video producer.
Thank you so much, Bookie, for the sub. You got to saw the cool new emote. Thank you for the 2 months. I greatly appreciate it. Sorry, say that.
It does not say anything.
Huh. Okay.
Alright, so Scorching Ray. I'm just going to quickly just heightened quicken.
Yep. You're back from the Eka. How was the Eka for you, Bookie? I remember you talking about this on Wednesday when I didn't go to the Eka, but much like a person who doesn't really care about the monarchy, I still want the holiday.
The Eka?
Yeah, so in Queensland, we have like the state fair kind of thing is the best way I describe it to Americans. Because it's got like a dog show, there's cows, there's some lumberjacks, show bags, some rides, hot dog stands, yada yada.
Yeah. I'm going to quickly be right back. I need to actually go to the bathroom quickly, so...
Not to worry, and...
I know we've only just started, so you can do all the introductions and chat with everyone, and I'll be right back in just a moment.
Not to worry, it'll give me time to go into like a hatch and do like silly exploration around here, while you go stay with the Githyanki. So yeah, so the Eka was fun, lots of animals, yummy food, and show bags. Ah, I see. Important question. Which show bag did you go for? Also, what's up in this ladder? Because I feel like that's the only thing I usually care about is the show bag. Alright, I can pick up a bow. a scimitar. Oh, and I'm now encumbered. Lol, that's hilarious. All right, let's have a look. So, all right, I'm going to start giving you some of this useless nonsense. I love how I have a heavy stone just for the hellsies of it. Oh yeah, the medium armor could be used on someone. Undead creatures that hit the wearer receive 1d6. Beasts that hit the creature deal an additional. So that's a bit much. Broken loot, I'm going to give that to you. Actually, is there a way... Hang on. Tab, I need to sort this by weight so I know what to give to,
Now that is what we call a skill issue.
There is no skill issue. Don't be ridiculous. Alright, I'm going to give you the heavy armor, so then that way I'm not holding on to it all the time. Code's probably not going to appreciate... Alright, add to wares. The Morning Star is already being used by her. How's it going, Blue? Alright, so Bookie went for the Dragon Ball Z and the Kinder Bueno bag. Nice.
Okay, that's it. I'm gonna spit in your mouth.
Please don't spit in my mouth, Blue. I have Rego time soon. I know. There is going to be a brief interruption during this stream. That's why we started just a teensy bit earlier. So right now, Code's just gone to the bathroom, pissing and shitting and what have you. I, meanwhile, am currently doing some inventory management, trying to figure out what we don't need and what I can just give to the NPCs. I'll give you the Morning Star. I'm just trying to, like, lighten my load, so then that way I'm not, like, carrying all the wares. Because, like, look at all this stuff. Cookie for Hendrix! Alright, that reminds me. Dagger +1 needs to be given to, the vampire dude we have in our, camp. Same as the disarming thingy. We got blueprints and instructions. And another cookie this time for Bookie! You couldn't find the FNAF Freddy bag today, though? No! Not the FNAF Fazbear! I don't feel too bad that you weren't able to find that. Like, FNAF is it's just Chuck E. Cheese for adults is what FNAF is right now. Alright, so we got a pickaxe. I've got 2 shovels. I'm gonna split it. So then that way I give the other shovel over to Code and his character. And then keep the makeshift spear. I have a lot of skulls for some reason. Don't ask me why. All right, so you got a torch. You don't have a torch, so I'm gonna give you a torch. And then you're gonna go up here. Who else doesn't have a torch? You don't have a torch, actually. So, okay, so if I find another torch, it's going to you. Disarming tools, incense, some goblin drawing, some soulstone, jade. Excellent. Alright, I should be fairly okay. Alright, so I got something in bewildering. So I got 17 things in here, and then I got a keychain. Wait, open. What's in the keychain? Oh, okay. So what I can do is I can... Okay, maybe what I should do then is see if I can add keys into there. Hi, Masonic. Welcome to the stream. Hello there, indeed. Also, that reminds me, I can turn off the thingy and turn on this one. Once again, forgetting that I adjust the size for, like, the different, whatsamahoozies. So I need to put you there instead and shrink you down to, like, here, I want to say. So then that way, let's see, filters, guest spot. All right, so I need to move Code a little more to the right. I can do that. Watch. Ow!
Alright, I'm back. What mean things are you saying about me behind my back?
Oh, no, nothing. Just said you were pissing and shitting.
Already. How are you doing?
Wow.
I'm doing
Hi.
good on
Nice.
exchange program in Oxford.
Nice! A year, Augusto. Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. What do you think of the fun little thingy-majiggy we had? Like, I have a what's a Mahoozy icon. I have a GIF for when people sub to me. I don't yet have anything unique for followers or gift sub bombs or like community like thingy-majiggies, but I'll figure out that nonsense another time.
GIF? Don't you mean a GIF?
I'm just gonna deafen so I can't hear their laughter as they think they're being so funny with it's not GIF, it's GIF for graphical interlaced file. All right, let me pop them back up so then that way they're not constantly mad. There we go.
I was gonna use the save feature, so fuck you.
Lol. Alrighty, to the thingamajiggy. Mwahaha. You thought you crashed the stream? It's cute. Thank you. And no, you didn't crash the stream. All right. Here's the cellar. All right, so yep, you're alive, and you've done your level ups, which is nice. And what's more,
Yep.
you've lost a little blood because
Because I made out with a durian.
Mm-hmm. All right, I am most certainly going to take that.
I mean, I did.
What was that? I didn't hear a thing you said just then.
Hello.
Hello?
Does anyone believe my lies?
Nah, we didn't hear. Ah, there we are. There you are. I love how you still have like this weird red aura about you as you've just like been like, I'm a little like lightheaded. I'm a little woozy. All right, I'm gonna put on the cool boots.
I may need to quickly reset my internet because my network is dropping in and out.
Ah, okay. All right, sorry about that.
It's doing this weird thing where it's dropping in and out. So I think it's because I haven't turned off my computer or reset my computer lately.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna have a quick reset and I'll be right back with everyone.
Alrighty. I didn't realize I could move this thing. That's kind of hilarious. Hi there, Trumpet Collins. Hope you're enjoying Baldur's Gate. Yeah, I am. It is my... I'm calling it like Friday night D&D night with the boys. Joining with me is Code the Yoshi. Right now, Code is just dealing with some internet, fuckaroonies and shit, so... No, they're not doing anything right this moment. They're probably not going to appreciate the fact that, much like my behavior in normal D&D nights, let's split up, gang. Hi there, Husky. Welcome to the stream. Howdy. Welcome. All right. No point for all that.
You sniffing where you ain't ought to be.
The mark glows, but you feel nothing in response. Your illithid power is until you rest.
Whoops. You now have physical high-risk forklift license. You're too dangerous to be kept in this stream, Blue. You're much too dangerous. I can't have you being a moderator while having the high forklift license. Give me a second. Let me find this. /unmod and then Blue Foxy Nicey Icy. There we go. Blue is no longer a moderator. I can't have him having so much power in my streams. No, don't be like no. Although do be no about this. I need to deal with this fucking Oh wait, I can just probe his thoughts. Here we go.
Wait, you're probing a thought?
Yes, using guidance to help me out. Roll.
Did it breathe?
Sus. Yeah. But now this means that I'm like one less moderator and I need to find another one at some point.
There's that funning around while I'm stuck dealing with yobs.
Alright, gotta go back.
Is that a fact? He's at the windmill mucking about.
Wait, what was Blue doing?
If I were
Blue is they now have a physical high-risk forklift license. They are now forklift certified. I don't know why they're forklift certified, okay? I have learned some really crazy things about Blue, like how they've been to Disneyland and they didn't invite me, and all kinds of other kinds of crazy nonsense.
Rude.
Yeah, fucking rude. Hey, look, a hammer.
Oh, hang on. I think I need to open up Guest Star and get back into the thingo.
Because it, like, updated and is no longer a thingamajiggy. All right, hang on a sec. Let me have a look at my guest
Hang on.
star. It has an exclamation point. Ooh, shears. And now he sends a meteor at me. We're living on the internet. Oh my gosh, I can...
You may need to re-invite me. I'm not sure.
Alright, hang on a second. End the call. End guest star. Request guest star.
No.
And then all that is muted. Invite guest. Mods and VIP. Oh my gosh, I have so many VIPs. Where's code? There's code. Thank you, Bone. Merp. Hey, Bone. I am one moderator short. Do I think I can trust you with moderator powers?
Don't do it. You'll lose a femur.
Actually, yeah, you got... Okay, never mind, Bone. I want to keep my femur, thank you. You can... Trumpet Collins says they can trust... Actually, I can trust Trumpet Collins. Hang on a second.
Can I get that invite back in?
Yeah, I sent you the invite. I thought I sent you the invite. Oh, it's just...
There we go. There it is. There it is.
I just added you as a favorite. I didn't actually... Alright, hang on a sec. Let me see. /mod Trumpet Collins. Congratulations, Trumpet Collins. You are now a moderator, so then that way the balance of the number of moderators to my stream is now in balance. Zeebs is scared that he isn't forklift certified
You
either.
haven't been invited. Make sure the host.
Oh, hang on. Let me try that again. Send invite.
Okay.
I can
Leave and join the session. There we go.
I can pickpocket this dude.
Let's see.
Don't pickpocket him. It's mean.
Oh, look at this. I can steal his bone.
Oh, there we go. And now it actually brings up your video too now.
Oh, that's because... Hang on. Turn off my mic. Because my quote-unquote video, I just made it the OBS virtual cam.
Ah.
All right, so... Can I target two things?
Don't know. Also, you need to invite me back into the game, by the way. You know, by the by. Just,
Oh, yeah, by the by. Hang on a second. I want to steal this gold.
Take what I please.
Oh my god, this is such an easy steal.
This little bit of that.
Nice. Alrighty, multiplayer,
Musky Dog
invite.
has added quote number 434. Oh look, I can steal his bone.
Alright. Oh my god. What's happening? Alright, hang on a second.
Someone's been rifling
channel
through the wrong
boobs.
pockets. You sense now would be a good time to clarify if that someone is...
Ah, damn it.
All right, here I am. Oh,
I'm in the middle of a fight, so you're welcome to join me. Oh
Leave you
no,
alone.
there's
I leave
multiple
you-
bombs.
I leave you alone for 5 fucking seconds, and you're already getting yourself killed.
It's not my fault. I just wanted his coin. And look at that, like, one shot, and he's gone. Alright, hang on a second.
Yeah, but now I gotta come and rescue you.
We'll be I'll be fine. It's just 1, 2, it's 3 goblins. They'll be easy to take care of, okay? Like,
Oh, only 3 goblins. Okay,
Yeah.
here I am. Oh, it's the ones on the roof. The ones I told you about.
oh, they did not do any interruptions.
To add your ears to my collection.
You don't take my ears. I don't think I even have ears.
Yeah, I think you have ears. Like, you'd have, like, these little, like, thingy-majiggies. 5. not-
1, 2, 3.
Nice. See?
That'll teach us.
Yeah, so one of them is dead. And then you've got, Lizelle, who can also help.
She should have her bow.
Yeah.
Missed.
Ah.
God damn it, Lizelle, I trusted you.
Alright. Alrighty, so. Now comes the fun bit, where
Also, there is a spider web there.
Yep, I know. Just give me a sec. Let's see if I can... Oh, lol. It'll just dash me all the way out here. Alright,
Okay, I see the other dude over here.
Yep. So he's gonna dash as well. Badger, 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 badger.
Oh, so hopefully in the upcoming week, I should have my model ready for leap motion.
Hey, nice. That'll be good. All right,
So
can
I need to
I...
get myself a little leap motion mount, I think.
Alrighty. All right, I can't do
I
anything
do have
more
one on
from
my
there.
throne, so if anyone wants to, go over to my throne and, help me out there. Just go to my, go to my channel and, go to my throne link in my channel bio and, just help. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
All right, hang on. Exclamation point throne.
Wait, that's yours.
Oh. I was on autopilot there.
You're a dill.
Hmm.
See, this is why,
I'm a funny
we
one.
share the brain cell.
Yep, this is exactly why. All right. And I
Although apparently it was not your turn for the brain cell.
No. No, it isn't. Clearly, it's your...
Oh, she made that jump.
Nice.
Holy shit, I thought she was gonna face plant it when I decided, oh, well, I'll just give it a try.
All right, you gave it a try.
There he is. Ah, not enough movement. Damn.
Yep. And then there's a sharpshooter all the way down there.
Wait, she's got astral knowledge. Gain proficiency in all skills for a chosen ability.
Sounds like a lot.
Well, I guess with her being Githyanki, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can dash and bring her up to at least here to get her some sniper shots.
Nice.
On my way.
Note to self, do not have leftover ravioli and steaks together.
Oh, that sounds funky. Oh wait, I should
Well, I mean,
probably...
it wasn't terrible, it was just overly filling, though.
Ah, okay.
Once we're done here, we really should go back and get her other party member and everything.
Yep.
Also, you need to heal because you are standing in fire.
Yeah, I know. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Jump.
I feel like there's a Garth Brooks song and all of that.
All right. Double your movement speed. Jump no longer requires a bonus action.
Anybody that knows the song that I'm referencing from Garth Brooks, you lived in the country like I did.
Damn it! Why do I go prone? That's dumb.
For those who don't know, the song I'm referring to is Standing Outside the Fire.
Ah. Also, there's a giant hole here.
Oh, Bone, you knew the reference. Good on you.
Nice. All right.
Good on you, mate.
Actually, I am going to...
My mother is a big fan of, like, Garth Brooks, Brooks and Dunn, the McClymonts, Dixie Chicks, Slim Dusty, Keith Urban. I could go on if you'd like.
Yeah, that is a lot. Movement speed is doubled.
Adam Brand. I've had to listen to all of these.
Did you like listening to all of these?
Oh, I didn't hate them. Garth Brooks always had a few good ones.
Oh, okay.
Take out the archer.
Cookie for Collins.
Oh shit! No, I'm moving outside of this grease trap. Move Lizelle, move Shadowheart out from the grease, because that is gonna. If they light
she's
that
at
on
the...
fire, we are fucked.
Yep, she's at the top. She gets to move before the goblin, at least, so... The order of operation here.
Taking out the... Ah, critical miss.
Yeah, that's alright. I think I'm still on fire, weirdly enough.
I used to live on a horse farm as well, Bone.
What?
Yeah, I used to live on a farm, and my mother and grandmother both raised and trained horses and horse riders.
Huh, okay. So that's like...
Trumpet Collins _gaming demands you drink.
Noted.
was a family thing.
Thank you for the drink. Alrighty.
Self-care. Who cares for themselves?
Let's see. Dancing lights, ranged attack, concussive. Must be a.
What's that?
Fuck it. I'm gonna dash just so then that way I can get further out from the. And
I'd probably try and maybe get her around here if you can, or even to there.
Got to press on.
bonk. Yay! Waypoint discovered.
Mud.
Yeah, it's problematic. Yep. All right,
I
now
didn't realize just that little bit of mud would slow your movement speed down that much.
it does a bit, yeah. Alrighty, and then. All right, can I get out from a different door?
One day I'll catch
This
We
way.
did help a little bit with some dairy farm stuff because the farm we were on did have a dairy section to it, as well as a sheep shearing area too.
Okay. Sounds like a lot of stuff happens on a farm normally rather than just one thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so just be aware. Okay, never mind.
Be aware of what?
I thought he was like standing just a little bit on the grease trap then.
Oh no. See, I wouldn't have moved close enough to the grease in order to set it off.
Fair, fair.
Or at least to have been in the blast range anyway.
Yeah. All right. Meanwhile,
where'd the other mother
prone.
chuffer go?
If you
He's
actually,
prone?
yeah, you can actually click on their portrait in the top, and it will like jump to
there you
where they
go.
are. All right, so he's not dead yet, but he's close.
I'm gonna get Lizelle maybe to move a little bit further over this way to get her a better shot at this guy.
Yep, sounds good. Alrighty, and then
If you had a lightning spell, you could get it to set the water on.
There's my feet.
Did you fall over?
Shadowheart did.
Get off the grease and I'll set it on fire.
All right, hang on a sec. Let me get moving then.
Get everyone off. God damn it,
Calm your eyes,
Shadowheart!
Paddy.
Oh my gosh, hang on.
You know what? Fuck it. She's gonna die.
No,
not that mean.
not while I'm like trying to.
Something the matter?
No, I didn't mean to click on her like this. Leave. All right, let's have her move.
Get everyone off.
Oh, I don't care what
Because
gender
I'll
you
Blue, goddamn you!
Put on the maid outfit.
Blue, put the maid outfit on me. All right, so now all that's on fire. We can now go to this ancient sigil to teleport.
Oh, actually, we could have just hit the map and go to where we want to go.
Oh.
So heading back over to the Emerald Grove.
Yes, please.
So if you go, I think the Emerald Grove
Environs?
environs. Yeah, that's the one.
All right.
Bone Dog paid me to say I will put the maid outfit on code.
You don't exactly have a way of doing that while he's just a Discord thingy-majiggy on here. All right.
I will put the maid outfit on code. I actually don't have one yet. I will ask Source to possibly make a maid outfit later on for the 3D model.
Do you mind if I hit a short rest for us so we get 50% and some stuff?
Yeah, probably a good idea.
That took the edge off.
There we go.
That should return at least a few. I don't think it returns spell points.
For
For warlocks, yeah.
yeah, for warlocks it does. Cookie once again for Trumpet Collins. Alrighty then.
So if this is the guy that I think it is we're hiring, it's Will, right? He's one
Yeah.
of the origin characters.
Yes, I missed picking him up when we were first here.
So I actually listened to all the origin characters' stories. There's actually something very interesting about Will that's going to coincide with one of the other origin characters.
Nice.
I won't say anything more than that because I don't want spoilies for you. Because if you didn't read them, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Go on. Give me a best shot.
So, because my whole thing of my whole thing about going into D&D like sort of campaigns or sources like these is I normally like sort of running into these as I go through the play and such. The only reason I know about this and the other one is when I was like doing catch up off stream, so then that way the two of us were able to get to where we were previously when we had Gene Simmons in the party.
Like me.
Yeah. Actually, here's
You just
something
have to buy
interesting
enough
too.
time to run.
All 6 origin
Come on.
characters,
I believe in you.
all of the
can
origin
do
characters
this.
you can pick,
Mm-hmm.
all had magic cards.
Yeah, no, that I remember that. That was being mentioned because I did play like the Attack on Baldur's Gate. I just do not have a lot of what's Mahuzi. It's good advice. I just, you know, regularly forget. It's Mr. Dice Man. No. Blue. The Dice Man is the balding dwarf with the long locks who's really short. Let me find the card. Hang on a
As
second.
his thoughts become yours. You are the blade of frontiers racing through the wastes of Avernus. Just ahead, a diabolical figure, red skin, single curled horn, blazes with flame, bloodied great axe held.
You're talking about
Hell's great fires.
You're talking about this guy.
Oh yeah, that's the Dungeon Master.
Yes, and that
From the
is
original 80s from the original 80s cartoon series.
and you can get that as a Halloween costume.
Oh yeah, I know. I've seen it.
Who was that woman? The one in your thoughts?
You saw her then. Advocatus Diaboli. Her name is Karlak. An archdevil.
Wait, did it do a
soldier
roll and I
with my
didn't?
good eye to kill.
I did a history
I tracked
check.
her through the hells
Okay.
to the Mind Flayer ship, but the damned Illithids infected me before I could end her.
She's out there now.
That
preying
card
on the
isn't legal to
innocent.
play except for
I don't
those
kill her. She'll leave behind nothing but
whose
a train
name
of
are on the back
corpses.
of that card. Really?
No, that one should be legal. It has the like little circle thingy-majiggy. I suggest we search for a healer together.
Excellent suggestion, but your party's full up. Still, when the time comes, call for the blade. I won't be long to answer.
Do we want to kick out the Githyanki?
No, send him to camp, I think, at the moment.
A splendid plan. We'll talk more there.
Alrighty.
I think one thing we should probably kick out the Githyanki and take Asterion for the time being.
Alrighty then. Sounds good. Camp. Go to camp.
Because I'll remove
We want to keep Shadowheart
remove,
for one of our like thingamajiggies.
yeah, because Shadowheart at the moment's a decent tank.
The Githyanki people have a word for men like the Blade of Frontiers. Shalak, the idealist do-gooder, the benevolent bird.
I feel like most people don't like Lizelle for the same reason that we've not been enjoying what's Mahuzi from Inquisition.
You believe
the-
you can survive without me.
Yes.
The Enchantress
As you say.
person. What's her name? The one that's like, oh, the Templars do nothing wrong. They're doing their job. What's that woman? I'm trying to remember this woman's name. Black, bald. She's like does magic things in Dragon Age Inquisition. She hates Cole just because he's like a spirit, and it's like really infuriating. I wish I remember. Scratch!
Hope you're keeping well, friend.
Oh, I forgot I had Talk Animal turned on.
Master.
Oh, you've got, yeah, so you'll be able to actually understand him at
I
the
stayed
moment.
with him until I knew he was gone.
Yeah.
I'll never forget him.
Blue, you have multiple commanders. Hearing that you have something as a commander is like hearing someone saying after many divorces, oh yes, they're an ex-wife. I'm gonna pet him.
Pet the good boy.
Pet the goodest boy. I love how it's like a very heartful, like, it's not just a silly, like, there. It's like a, oh no, let me just scrunch your face. Let me just be like, bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop. And it's annoying that you can only pet them once.
That is a vicious predator.
Oh, he's with us. Okay. He's not a predator. We're blooping. Bloop, 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 bloop.
I'm gonna, for Asterion, I'm gonna select his thing as Thief. Because if we go Thief for this level, and then around level 4 or 5, we give him one in, we give him a few levels in Fighter, it'll make him a very, very good frontline DPS.
I could be a good frontline DPS as a monk.
Well, it also gives him the dual wielding aspect as well, to allow him to dual wield some more proficient weapons.
There we go.
I had a good build list here for him.
We don't need build lists. We don't need the instructions. We'll figure this shit out as we go along. It's fun that way.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
All right, I'm gonna give him the thieves' tools and the trap disarming kit.
Good idea.
I will give him this. I kind of like the sleight of hands thingy-majiggy. Because, like, with this thing, it says, on a melee hit, it's possible to inflict a 1d4 penalty to the target's attack rolls and saving throws, which I really like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bloom.
Bloom. All right,
Plus, Thief gives him some good abilities, too.
Yeah. All right, get out of the tab thingy-majiggy. So you're just doing his level up right now, or is he done now?
Yep, finished.
All right, cool. All right, I'm just gonna... Oh, I can just send to camp. Excellent. That makes my job so much easier. What's in here? Ah, it's all that. Okay, so send to camp. All right.
Yeah, so now he's at level 3. So next level we want to give him fighter level 1.
Oh, we're gonna multi-class him.
Yeah, so along with this, make sure we pick out the 2-weapon fighting style.
Because he's doing the short sword and the... Actually, that reminds me.
Not only that, but because of him being a rogue, because him being a thief gives him some additional actions per turn. Giving him fighter on top of that will give him action surge, which will also give him additional actions per turn.
Wait, are you still... Yeah, you're still bloodless. That's why you have the red around you right now.
Yeah, I'm still bloodless.
Yeah, alrighty.
I think once we do a long rest, it should fix up later on, but right now we don't need to do a long rest.
Nah, not just yet. Alright. You said there was, like, some place to dig?
Yep, so on the map, we head back over to the church, so the roadside cliff is probably the best place to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then we head back over to the church we were at before, which was over
this
way. Happy condition. Historians of vampiric hunger has been temporarily sated, +1 to all action roll. Oh, okay. So I lose blood and he gets happy over it.
Well, yeah, like, you're getting the minus, he's getting the plus.
I prefer them savory.
So.
This is what I get for trying to strike up conversation.
There we go.
Nice.
Treasure chest. There's a potion of speed and some gold.
Oh. Didn't we get that before? Or am I thinking from, like, a different chest?
Not sure. Now, you got that spear from when we went to the thing here before, didn't we?
Yes. Oh, we gotta check something out. So, over at the Emerald Grove, Enva Irons, or whatever it's called. This way. And...
Following you.
Yep, because I found a cave.
He found a cave.
I found a cave. It's not the Owlbear Cave. We still need to go to the Owlbear Cave, but there is another cave. But this one...
You've still got animal speak too, don't you?
Yeah, that thing is still going on. It goes on until a long rest. Right here.
So definitely a good idea to hold on to that.
All right. Also, I'm just gonna F5 this.
What cave is this? I don't think I've seen this in any playthrough thus far.
There's a guardian statue over there, though, so be mindful.
Glowing eyes are rarely a good sign.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Best be careful.
Oh, motherfucker shot me.
Examine. It's a guardian statue that is resistant to slash, piercing, acid, doesn't take any necrotic or fire damage, resistant to lightning, takes no psychic or poison, and doesn't... It's just really strong. You tried. So I think it takes a lot of physical nonsense. I wonder if there's, like, other ways of... Oh! There's a rune of the eagle across it. You just need to be careful of the oil that's over there.
Yes. Oil.
Oh, I wonder... Okay.
Oil, be careful with that.
Alright, let's see if I can... I'm gonna sneak this.
You gonna try and be a sneaky beaky?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and be a sneaky beaky. Sneaky breaky.
No one knows about this damn weapon.
Alright, I'm gonna go around the other side.
We'll get a druid.
Alright, so that's a water barrel.
Rogue's got to be full of magic. That's why I've been stabbing all the rats. Might be spies.
And... I want to stab this guy. You okay if I stab this guy?
Yep, I'm down here waiting just in case.
Alrighty then. 3.
You might want to, before you do have Shadowheart, maybe sneak up behind you. Because she is all the way over there, and we might need her in this fight.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
Does this count as adventuring?
No sign.
Alright.
Just, you know, have a sneak, remember?
Yep.
Unnoticed. Good.
Okay, so the bird statue is no longer shooting at us. Did you do something to it?
Yeah, I pressed the eagle thing. See how there's a blue thingy-majiggy up there? Because there's another one for the... It says that one's for the bear, and there's a bear over there.
Let's find
Oh.
another one.
I totally knew that. Shut up.
Don't want to think.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Alrighty then, here we
There's
go.
the rune of the wolf over there.
Alright, let me just stab this guy.
Oh, this was more fun when he was screaming.
Nice. Alrighty.
You might want to move Shadowheart in position too.
I can't afford to fail.
Okay.
Sneak attack ranged. You might want to pull her out of sneak, because while she's in sneak, she's not going to be visible.
Yeah, but this is why I'm, like, doing the rune of the bear real quickly, so then that way it's not gonna cause problems.
Set off.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an unconscious dude there. Leave him be, I think.
Bonk. There we go. Alright, now it's still my turn.
Oh, darn it. I could have done some more offhand actions with him. I'm just going to feather fall you in case you decide to jump.
It is not this character's turn. Click jump to the character who it is. Oh, needies. And I don't have... Okay, so I can shove this guy. Here we go.
Oh, hang on. You don't have feather fall, so just be careful when... Oh, that poor bastard.
Got him! Hey, I got an achievement for killing a character by shoving it. Nice. Alrighty, and then...
Just watch it jump. I wasn't able to put feather fall on you.
No, that's okay.
My feet can carry me.
And then... Alright, so he's surprised. They're surprised. He's surprised. And then...
Surprise, motherfuckers!
Alrighty, I don't think I
You
can...
got some additional actions with her.
I can do a bonus action of shoving... I can't do any...
All right, because you already used her ability. You already used her attack when you first started.
Yep. So I'm just gonna shove. It fails. Now it's back up to me, and I'm going to shoot at this guy. Oh, damn you!
Oh, he did.
What, the sharp-eyed Giza? No, he ain't.
Yeah. No. The other dude is.
All right.
Really? How do I miss from there? That's just...
Maybe it's the mud. Thank you for the head
No
pats,
idea.
Zach, by the by. Alrighty. You've got feather falling for some reason.
Yeah, because I put it on me and Asterion. I was trying to put it on you, but then I realized the spell only does it for me and anyone near me.
Yeah. Alrighty. Can't reach you. So I'm gonna hit you. There we go. He's failed the Heartstopper. well, he's dead anyway, so.
I think his heart stopped.
I think that's what happened. Alrighty, here we go. There we go. Alright, let's see what this guy have. Ooh,
Nothing
arrow
on
of
him.
acid. Nice. Just another thingy-madoog.
Battle axe, nothing really all that great. Acid vial.
His breaths are shallow,
Oh, it's
his
just
wounds deep. He doesn't respond to your voice.
Oh. Can we heal him, perhaps?
Maybe try using. You might want to group with Shadowheart too.
Oh,
I'm ready. Whatever it takes.
His breaths
No,
are
group her.
Oh.
What we could try doing is, anyone got a potion that they can throw at the guy?
Oh, yeah, I should. Hang on.
Still alive. So that's progress.
Items. Right. Oh, I have to go into my inventory here, and then no. Split.
Or you can just select throw from the action bar.
There we go.
There we go.
Findel.
Thank you, thank you. I thought I was gonna die down here.
How did the goblins slip into the grove? Was no one looking for you? Didn't get you on sight? Why didn't they? I'm surprised.
They were asking questions about a weapon.
Ooh.
I told them the only weapons here are the ones the Foulbloods brought. I must tell the others what happened. I stepped careful. There are traps in these tunnels. And thank you again.
Nice.
Foul blood. That's the tieflings.
Yeah, they don't like. No, like, look, tieflings are just an excuse for the D&D campaign to still be racist without, you know, keeping to the thingy-madiggy. Where did you? Oh, why did you jump up? Oh, be mindful. Crouch. Hide.
Turned it off. Oh, and I found a key.
Oh.
The Guardian statues are glowing.
The
wolf and the bear one, they're both glowing.
But not the hawk.
Could that be because we turned them off, or because we pressed the buttons?
Well, I pressed the button on the rune for the hawk. I don't see... Unless it requires me standing... Color me curious, then. Standing at the hawk. Examine. It's just a guardian statue.
No, they seem to be all turned off. By the way, there's Shadowheart.
Yeah, Shadowheart's just here.
She's running around. She seems to be ungrouped to you again.
Well, yeah, that's because I've ungrouped her on purpose. And then... Yeah, guardian statue doesn't do anything. I'm hesitant in tapping the ruin thing again.
Well, because hang on, because there's the bear. Look, there's another statue over here that's already been destroyed. If you look,
yeah. So there's 4 in total. So there's bird, bear, wolf, and a 4th.
So we need to find the button for the 4th one.
Okay. So maybe somewhere in this dark thingy-majiggy. Actually, wait. My guys. Hang on a second. Hey, a chest.
Be wary. This place is trapped.
Oh. I need your vampire boyfriend.
He's not my boyfriend.
Yeah. Sucks your blood one time and that's it. No cares. No fucks given. Oh wait, I can try and no thieves tool. What do you mean no thieves tool available? I just grabbed a. Oh, it wants a.
Disarm. Trap disarm.
There we go.
Pray that I make this.
I can make it. Like it's a. Did you get it?
Got it.
All right. And then.
Very dirty 22.
All right. So wait, did you pick the lock or just disarm it?
I had to disarm it first, and now I'm going to pick the lock.
I took in a charred key from code using magic pockets.
Oh.
So
I guess I had the key.
Yeah. Oh! Remember the temple we were in?
Yeah.
That's where the key came from.
No, the charred key, I picked it up from the corpse over down there.
Oh. Nature Snare. Versatile bludgeon. Oh, this is
It's
a
a
quarterstaff. This could be good for you.
Actually, it'd be good for our druid later on.
Hello, Jason. Chance to ensnare targets if it's not a plant or a beast. Still, like, you should use it.
Yeah, I'll take them. I'll take them.
All right. Cookie for Jason. Hey, Jason. Welcome, welcome. All right. So that was a cool thingamadoog. Then we've got, like, oil.
I might see about maybe giving it to the beast guy, though, but I'll keep it for now.
That I felt cheated in that moment there.
Hello. Wait, did the statue go off on you, did it?
No, I walked through oil while holding a torch, and they were like, "Oh, the torch," and I.
Oh, there's a stone door over here.
Wait, do I have to climb back up? No, I'm in the right direction. Cool. There's.
So this door must be.
Well, actually, there's another. I think there was like another door over there. So what's that door for? There's two. All right, let's see what happens.
By the way, Shadowheart's still not with you.
Oh,
Enclave Library.
Yeah. All right.
Wait, we in the back of the Enclave?
Maybe.
Maybe we shouldn't be here just yet.
Well, give me a sec. I think we weren't meant to be able to get here, because I think you can't open... Also, there's all this gas.
Yeah, maybe firstly group with Shadowheart. Let's go back.
And then try a different door. Because there was like another one, this ways.
Up to the top?
Yeah. I don't know why my guy decides that's the optimal route. But I guess so.
Yeah, my guy also decided it, so...
They must just not like mud.
I mean, can you blame him?
Nah, I can't blame him. We can't blame him. No. I thought there was like a panel thingamajiggy or something. Alright, let's try this sword and door.
Something over there.
Oh, lol. So, random door there.
The other side of the prison where the goblin is.
Yeah. Oh! Didn't you want to try and... Or no, that was Gene Simmons, wasn't it?
That was Gene. What's down here?
I'm gonna bite the heads off your kids, and your birdies, and your dogs.
From the looks of it, a way to get a pitchfork. And... Nah.
Doesn't look like there's much else over there. Burlap sack. Burlap sack. We could probably just destroy this old broken door over here.
Bunch of softies.
Wait, is the old broken door on your side?
No.
Oh, there's
yeah,
the broken
so
door.
past that rusted prison door.
Oh, okay.
Not really much of a point in being here.
Well, yeah, because we've already like done like the big
there's
thing.
there's another jump location over here. Ah! 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 Found something.
Oh, hang on a sec. All right, hang on. Let me deal with the broken door, just so then that way I can... Also, what the fuck is this? A malnourished... Still grows an angry red.
Ow. Okay, don't touch those things.
Noted. Do not touch, like, the malnourished thingamajiggy. Ow. It still decided to blast me.
Yeah, don't touch those.
I'm gonna bite the heads off your kids, and your birdies, and your dogs.
There we go. And then I can climb up here.
So, I'm wondering... Is that statue there, that's the remaining statue that's out back.
Oh.
So I'm wondering if there's a button here that might trigger it.
All right, let me see if I can head back to you. Give me a second.
Oh, there's a tiefling in here too.
Hang on. I want to talk to them too. Ow.
Yeah, but the door is locked. Shabby wooden door.
Yep, give me a
She's
few.
locked in it. So the only way through is the roof over here.
Give me a sec. I'm on my way. I can play catch up.
I'm just trying to see if there's a button around here somewhere.
Not a word. Oh, so
Up here.
oh,
Stop! This place is off limits. Leave.
I didn't think jumping down would start that. Right, I take a minus.
Ah, thank goodness. Mine would have been a +3.
You note her grimace of pain. Something is wrong with her legs.
Damn it.
No.
Don't look at me like that. You can stay. Just keep your hands
Chat
to
has
yourself.
come together and
all
thinks
right?
you should do 30 squats during the break.
Okay, need a hand up.
Yep. All right, I gotta do my
Just
squats.
Fall back down.
We're in an ad break right now.
Legs are as steady as a foal.
Big stretch.
Potion.
Ooh, big stretch. Hang on a second. All right.
Yeah, I'll wait a second for you to finish your squats, and then we'll
Alrighty.
continue our conversation with this lovely lass.
Sounds good. I'll mute the Discord mic so you don't have to hear me counting. Here we go, chat. 30 squats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
I was just hoping to jump down here and find the button.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
Ooh,
19,
30 squid squats. That's a lot
20,
of squiddy squatties.
21, 22,
48,
23,
155,
20. I'm gonna take my headphones off. 23, 24, 25.
What if we actually made him lose
26,
count? I can't hear him, so I don't know if he's lost
27,
count.
28, 29, 30. Thank you, chat, for the 30 squats. How dare you, Code, once again trying to confuse me with my counting.
Did you actually lose count?
I had to take my headphones off while you were doing that.
Where did you get this potion?
From the old lady in the cave. The one with the lotions and potions. To her credit, it worked. I'm as strong as a bugbear. And fearless. Of course she also warned of side effects. Should have listened. Now I'm stuck guarding crates.
What?
Deadly serious. Still, the sooner this wears off, the better.
So
we can't
If this
touch
isn't the
anything
most
here.
boring-
Alright, so we can't steal... Oh, hello. This research was funded independently and conducted at site of Avernus, the first plane of the Nine Hells. Candlekeep does not encourage or promote the entrapment of mortal souls. Good to know.
There's a druid's ledger up there. I was hoping to see if the button was in here, but there's no button.
Yeah, it doesn't look it. Can we at least open this door now?
No, because it's a red door. And she didn't like that.
This is a restricted area. Time to explain yourself, or this guard will be restricting you to a cell.
great.
your
No,
rice
I've also
paddy.
got it too. Try to talk your way out of it.
Ooh, all right, I'm gonna use guidance. Let's see how we go here. Oh, I'm gonna.
Oh, just. I'm thankful that was the
That
vampire.
is what we call a skill issue.
Oh, I failed it.
Oh no.
I can't have both guidance and advantage going off.
Your conviction is enough. This will be taken. Should you transgress it?
All right.
What the?
Oh no, we're. Do we want F5 or F8? Let's F8.
Yeah, I'm F8ing.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I F5'd like just before the fight, however, or something. So it's like we're not perfectly fine.
Furry Cures 1,221 paid me to say now that's
Can't we go?
what we
Wait,
call a
because
skill
shouldn't we have
issue.
multiple autosaves?
We should have multiple auto saves. I think the quick load goes for the quick save though, not for the cookie for furry cures. Or who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, we're all the way back here.
All right.
So I think for now we should leave that area be.
Alrighty then, let's just head all the way.
What if we held hands?
Did we
as a
open that
treat?
chest that was over here? We'll need to reopen that, I think.
Yep. All right, give me a second.
Enjoy.
Let me see if it will give me the perception failed, so be aware. Did your perception fail?
I haven't checked yet. There we go.
Nice.
Cautious.
All right.
I'm gonna have him disarm it.
Okay, that's it. I'm gonna spit in your mouth.
How come it says I have like no thingamadoos? Weird. Why? Why do you want to spit in my mouth? You're
okay,
good.
I rolled a 4.
Ah, okay.
Thankfully, all of his bonuses allowed him to disarm it.
Nice.
Where can I go?
All right, I'll start making my way to the
Open
door
this.
because everything in the chest is like up your alley.
Do we want to go back out the other way? Because there's no point in us going back to that other door.
Okay, yeah, fine enough. Fine. We get closer to like the owl bears thingy-majiggy, I suppose, because then we can do all the fun things there. He was about to steal my shirt, but you're in the maid outfit. Fun fact: I've updated the thingy-majiggy so you can steal my shirt now while I'm in the maid outfit.
Really? What does it do?
It steals my shirt.
So it steals the maid outfit.
Not the entire maid outfit.
Ah, steals the boob window.
Yeah, it steals just the shirt portion. Oh, I forgot to take all his sausages. See?
My God, Grant.
It's furry cures. Blame him.
Have some decency.
I am being decent, at least partially decent. Alrighty, so in Wheeze goes. Alrighty.
You'll also be able to talk to the owlbear too, since we're.
Oh, I already did the owlbear thing because that's what we did last time. Remember?
Oh yeah, we killed it, right?
Yeah, we still killed it, and the owlbear mom was like injured and such, and then the owlbear what's-mahoozy was All right. Yep, I've already picked up the thingy-majiggy. So what I need to do is I need to grab.
Wait, is it just a matter of moving that chest into the shadow?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
I thought it might have been that easy.
No, it's where is it?
There's no time to waste.
Somewhere. Oh, maybe I need to still hang on.
Time to rest.
Where the F is it? Stamped handbill, invasion, personal note, soft letter, tough letter. Where?
It's not in anybody else's knapsack, is it?
It shouldn't have been. It's just a letter.
Salute prayer sheet.
Are you holding on to it?
I'm holding on to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what you need to do is you need to drop it on top of the chest.
Okay, I dropped it on top of the chest.
And then you read it.
Let's get going.
Read.
See?
Huh.
Or even destroy it if possible.
And she's like, "Oh, we should leave it." It's like, why?
This rubbish is an offering to Seluna. At best, it's worthless. At worst, who knows? Could be cursed. Do not trifle with that moon witch or her trinkets. Only trouble will follow.
Audio is being crackly? Oh, that's weird.
Hmm.
Might
as well do persuasion.
Persuasion? I love how I can't use guidance from her onto her. Here we go.
Oh wait, hang on. Oh crap, I could have done a charisma thing for you.
Oh, you can do it.
Hang on. Before you re-roll, hang on, let me just... I can't exit out because you're already in the roll check.
Oh. There we go. Passed it.
Fine. Perhaps you can sell them for a couple of coins.
She wasn't happy with that.
The Blade of Frontiers. Let's hope Will
What was that?
lives up
She
to
got a
his
serious
name.
wound.
She got like a wound go off on her hand. Yeah, it happened when we were in the thingy-majiggy. There's something you're not telling
I
me.
don't know what you mean.
No, I think you know exactly what I mean.
It's
Go
nothing.
suck a lemon.
Really.
We have to be honest with each other. What is it you're keeping
Hang on,
from me?
whoa. Before you do that, let me put... I think, did I grab the spell for friendship?
Friendship.
No, I didn't grab it for this run through. Shit.
All right, here we go again. I could really use friendship right now.
What is it? 18, is it?
Yeah, it's 18.
Oh, damn. Nope, that's all of our rolls.
What makes you think I'm hiding anything? If I have something to share, I'll let...
I'm guessing that... Oh... She's a cleric, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. I'm sorry, I'm save scumming this one because it's like We'll have to open up the chest
So
and get...
maybe her sore arm is coming from her patron.
Furry Cures 1221 paid me to say
Code is thicker than a snicker on a bottom par while Grant
got the top.
Got the top.
He's calling you fat.
Furry Cures, you're only looking at the PNG tuber version of me. You have yet to see the 3D model of me. It puts Grant's boobas to shame.
You're being unfair. Alright. So.
How am I being unfair?
I don't know, you're being unfair.
What, because my boobas are bigger than yours?
Well, yes.
Cautious.
I have no good comebacks. Oh, hey, scroll of Ray of Enfeeblement. Nice. And then healing potions.
Find a way forward.
All right, and you're grabbing the thingy-majiggy right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think cool. And then she's gonna.
Onward then.
Oh wait, no. We were just gonna come. We were gonna exit back out this way.
They'll catch a break.
I need to remember to F5 when we do the thingy-madoogs.
Good idea.
So.
Yeah, I forgot to take friendship this time around because I got True Strike and all that.
Fair enough. That's all right. And then.
It was on your model debut. Oh yeah.
Yes, Fairy Cures keeps an eye on that kind of nonsense. He's good at that. Alrighty. Pick up his sausage.
Yeah. Also, you know you can actually dual wield salamis as weapons.
Why?
Fuck it, I don't know why. Because hit people with your meat.
Can I? Oh.
I mean, don't you want to hit people with that thick, juicy meat?
All right, here we go. What's the condition?
Oh no.
Donk. Here we
Too
go.
late. Oh yes.
Alrighty, into the cave. And then we quick
Alright.
save the cave. We'll quick save it to like
No,
this
quick-
early.
Yeah, no, wait till, yeah, I was gonna say, maybe wait till you start the chat with her and then quick save it.
Becky, let 'em smash.
Becky, let me smash. Donk.
Donk. So yeah, so now you get put the scroll on top of the chest, read the scroll, and it unlocks the thingy-madiggies.
Why is it that easy? That is just dumb.
Chest's unlocked. My prayers are answered.
You should
Alright,
leave it.
now
Or even
talk to
destroy
her.
it if possible. This rubbish is an offering to Seluna. At best, it's worth. Do not trifle with that moon witch or her trinkets. Only trouble.
Why do you care so much is going to be the thingy-majiggy I choose? Because, oh, I get, like, all these extra bonuses.
You can F5 before the roll too, by the way.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
I should have stayed quiet. You want the truth? Fine.
Okay, this is a...
Shah, mistress of the night.
This is what I learned in, like, during the offline thingy-majiggy that I wanted
Ah.
on here.
Please don't make a big fuss about it.
Oh. So if we give her anything from the loon, that can actually break her oath to her god.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, because that's kind of how clerics function. They're like tsunderes. I'll decide whether... Oh, hang on.
Hang on. Oh, the tickets.
Hang on. I gotta do this.
Grant's going to go buy some tickets for FurCon.
Chat has come together and thinks you should do 10 squats during the break.
I am 101 in line. It's... Oh my gosh, it's going down really fast. 85, 77, 69. Nice. 61, 53, 45, 37, 29, 21, 13.
128, 40.
Yep, cool. No discount code. Dink. Okay.
All tickets have been sold out before you even got in line. Fuck!
You can't be serious.
Was that right?
No. Alright, so... Here we go, here we go. I have read the thingy-madiggy. Do I want an unlimited travel pass? Yes, please, because I'm going to be using that a few times. And then submit. Here we go. Yes. Now
you got it.
All right, so I got my ticket. Now I got to book for the Crown Hotel.
Well, you can pretty much do that. You got to do that at the same time, do you?
Well, I can do that right after it. And the reason I'm doing it right after it is because there is only so many rooms in this place. And I gotta be... Alright, and then...
True.
Ding.
So wait, the Crown Hotel, was it?
Yep. Hang on, I gotta sign in.
Is that on the Sunshine Coast?
Yes. No, not on the Sunshine Coast, the Gold Coast.
Ah.
Alright, and then...
Crown Hotel... Gold Coast.
Dunk. And then... Alright, so... From the 18th to the 20th, so 4 nights stay.
Let's see. Let's have a look at the map location and where it is. Oh, it's on Surfer's Paradise.
Yeah.
If you can't get there and you need a hotel to go to, I'd recommend the RACV Royal Pines. It is probably maybe a 5-minute
Got it.
Uber. Oh, you got it.
This is all right. Also, I need to do 10 squats. All right, so got it. Hell yeah, registration complete. I booked my hotel. Because last time this happened, I was like maybe 10 minutes behind, and I did get my ticket, but I could not get the hotel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got my 10 squats. All right, so yeah. Where are you going? Furdu 2024. All right, see. Success registration is complete. Please book at the Crown Hotel.
See, I'll probably end up going maybe 2025 because I want to get a fursuit next year first.
Not fair enough. So, all right. Yep, cool. Booked. So yeah, because before it used to be done in the Mantra on Surfer's Paradise, and they started running out of space there, like the number of rooms you could have, the panels you could host. So last year they started hosting it at the Crown Plaza, which they're doing again next year. So in the first year they did this, it was a little bit messy, like grabbing Rego and all that kind of such. But this time around, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a little
also,
bit better.
you don't need to be. Don't think you need to be sharing your. You don't need to worry about sharing your stream on Discord too, because I can see everything from here.
Oh yeah, hang on a second.
Because it's pretty much almost beat for beat from here. It's a bit more live from here.
Yeah, the Twitch thingy-majiggy.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. All right, hang on. So I stopped sharing the thingy-majiggy. There we go.
Blue got there, Rego.
Nice. Good work, Blue. Actually, I need to double check. Did they get their Rego? Hang on.
So I'm going to go through that guy that made your fursuit too, I think.
Hang on a sec. I need to check in. I want to know if they're doing... Hang on.
Okay, that's it. I'm gonna spit in your mouth.
There's a 3D artist. They're a Borzoi. I'm wondering if... I think they're in Australia. I think they're in. Let's see. They've... Lol. Kofu's like, oh, I can't do it now. I'm streaming. Fuck that. I am most certainly going to be like, fuck that. Fuck this nonsense. I'm getting my ticket. I don't know if they understood.
Go get your ticket. Go get it.
Wait, what did Blue write? Go marry a Buddha's face. Blue, where are you getting these insults? They are a very weird, like, they're not like weird as in like, oh, they're just like left field rude. They're just sort of like go suck a lemon makes sense.
Not one of your best ones, mate.
Are you like trying to go for because I feel like go suck a lemon is like an Aussie, like something from like the Northern Territory would say. So
also we might want to keep going.
Yeah, no, we'll keep going. All right. Now that you had another, please don't make a big fuss about it. You could have told me. How long were you going to keep this secret?
You to elaborate.
Forever.
Because I don't know what I just said.
And you assume too much about what I can and cannot tell.
Secrecy is everything for Shah's children. It is our code, our creed, our shield.
Ooh. It's just like a cult.
From myself. I had my memories suppressed, so that nothing I know could be used against the Dark Lady. Once I prove myself, my memories will be restored.
Hang on, I also got to check someone else.
I'm not sorry I kept this from you. Not one bit. Though, perhaps that might change, if you can show an open mind.
Let's see, did he... This is me, like, now getting distracted, double checking on different peeps. Oh, okay, they're busy. Alright, never mind. Bonk. Alright, back to the game. We can just... Let's try a little more honesty going forward.
Try, I suppose.
Well, you better try harder. Like, the onus is now on you.
In here. Moondrop Pendant. The wearer has a 50% hit points. Oh, when... Okay.
So,
So when the wearer has a 50% hit points or less, they don't provoke an opportunity attack.
Wait, sleight of hand? Why did I need sleight of hand to pick up that?
Wait, to pick up what? The moon drop?
No, the Idol of Saloon. This tome describe. Oh, it's because I'm standing right next to the fucking like the other follower. This tome describes the ancient initiation rites observed by some who worship the moon goddess Saloon. When a youngster came of age, they would be left to fend for themselves deep in the wilds. There, they would show their skills of navigation and self-reliance, as well as their determination to return to the moon maiden's silvery glow. Once they found their way back to their people, their faith and standing as a follower of Saloon would be beyond any doubt.
Maybe leave the right in the chest. Leave it there.
Yep, okay.
You took it, didn't you?
I don't know what you're talking about. You have no evidence. Chat, you have no evidence for that. All right, let's go. You have no idea about that fruit. I don't know about a lot of fruits, Blue. I'm gonna be real with you. The last time I ate a fruit was from the ice cream store when they had a strawberry ice cream, and it tasted like there was real strawberry in there.
Alright, we might as well head back to the Blighted Village and try and find the Goblin Camp.
Oh yeah, because we can just teleport to the Blighted Village as well. Hopefully that's...
there's a well here.
There's also a very interesting looking goblin warrior over there, and I think there was some trolls here before? Oh, where did you go?
I'm looking at the well.
Oh.
Apart from an overgrowth of moss, dry stones...
Did you succeed?
At the bottom, something gleams in the dappled light.
Oh, throw a coin into the well. Maybe you can make a wish.
Coin disappears into the darkness, landing with a soft clink.
Would it be nice if they gave you the clink noise?
Should we leave it for now? Oh no, we're going down.
I'm going down. Nice. Oh, hey, it's a skeleton.
Oh, spider webs. Oh, I've seen this part on gameplay footage. We might want to back out here for a little while.
Okay, fine. I'll get...
Trust me on that. I don't think we're at the right levels to take that area on.
All right, fair enough. Let me just F5 right here. I'm pretty sure...
There's a goblin brawler walking around.
Yeah, I think there's also, like, trolls somewhere. Like, oh, hang on. In here?
Aren't these the guys we tried to kill earlier, or...?
I don't know. Oh, hey, is that meant to be a bath? That's an interesting looking bath.
Looks like a bath, doesn't it?
I love how Furry Cures has titled it as, hey, look, a brimmed hat!
A what? A brimmed hat?
Yeah, I found a hat. You know, just in case you wanted a different hat. Oh my gosh, imagine if they set up a thing so you could have, like, multiple hats.
Oh, there's herbs and everything in here. Antidote, mugwort, dagger root.
All right, I'm gonna stab this goblin warrior.
Are you sure it's a good idea if we don't need to?
The consequences are hardly surprising.
Yeah, I'm good. There's not that many problems. All right,
Garbage. Don't waste a step.
we can take these guys on. Plus, it's fun little experience. Oh, are you using the staff with, like, the cool ensnaring thingy-majiggy?
No, actually, I forgot to put that on.
Oh, you should have put that on. I shouldn't be like that. I'm sorry. I went into a fight ahead of time. I just like fighting, okay? I'm a monk. Everyone is kung fu fighting.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
They're fast as lightning. It was a little bit frightening. Oh, here comes this guy dashing.
Oh, he's so dashing.
You know he had disadvantage if he's trying to shoot you from that close.
I know, but I still had shield. Might as well.
Alright, fair enough.
Hard, strike fast.
Bonk. Oh, nice. One hit and they're dead.
Bonk in the head.
And then... Nice. Not dead yet, though. What were you attacking?
That's what I want to know.
Weird. Nice. And then... Missed. Get fucked. And then... God, she hits hard. Alrighty.
Best be on my way.
Nice. That wasn't so hard. And yes, I'm a maid. Blue put me in a maid outfit.
Oh, I found a wooden hatch.
Oh, cool. Don't forget to change the what's-a-mahoozy thing.
Yeah. Okay, so a basement.
No, you could have picked up some bottles.
Down here.
Should get some rest. I need to keep sharp.
Oh, elixir of poison resistance. Oh, potion of healing.
Hang on a
recipe.
sec. There's a lever. Hey, there's a... Oh. Did you pull the lever?
Nope, I thought you pulled the lever. I think it bugged out.
There we go.
Because it's letting me past.
Yeah, let me pass. I think so long as the lever is down, we can pass. Boom, cap.
Okay, this cave looks ominous.
F5?
Probably a good idea.
Alright, let's have a look.
Because there are a bunch of caskets in here. And the book over here. A for Azurith and other gods.
Oh, that's just telling you about gods. Who needs it? Ow! Okay, so don't open them, otherwise it's a problem. I didn't think it was gonna be, like, jumping out at me like this. The fuck?
Well, now you've woken its friends.
What friends? I know that. Okay. Was that a dick move?
I don't know.
Okay. Ding donk.
Maybe we should leave this area be for now then.
No, we just don't touch any of the caskets. Simple.
Tisket a tasket, please don't touch the casket.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a mirror over here.
Oh, there's a dirt mound.
You got a shovel?
Yeah, I got a shovel. Look at that.
You might want to try again to get it out.
Okay. Oh wait, hang on. Items. There we go. Shovel's there.
Oh no, looks like you can use it.
Yep. Using dig on...
Protection of Melf's acid arrow. Scroll of detect thoughts. I'll let you take those.
Alright. Bucket. Another shovel, a candle. Shovel. Please don't... Oh, so we can just walk over the caskets, but we can't touch them.
So there's an ornate mirror here.
You know mirrors, that's like probably a teleportation mirror or something spookies. Are you investigating it right now?
Yeah, I'm having a look at it.
Raw magic leashed to a bauble. Almost.
Should you?
Well, I couldn't do the arcane check. Let me use inspiration if I can.
You should hopefully have some inspiration. Yeah, you got 3. We're doing it again.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Oh, thank goodness.
The magic is old and wavering, but you recognize it. The mirror is a thinking lock, hiding some secret. It seems some vain wizard took living magic and twisted it into a forgotten curio.
Speak your name. I do not know this name.
Interesting.
You are known to my master. Step forward and declare yourself an ally.
Oh.
Let's not, I think.
Wise.
I think unless we know who this guy is, it's probably not a good idea for us to go tampering with his mirror.
No, fair enough. Examine. Doesn't really give us much.
Maybe we'll check up on the mirror a little later on. It looks to be about all that's here, so I think maybe we should leave. Without opening the caskets. Grant, stay away from that mirror.
Wait, what? Yeah, okay. Yes, I will.
Grant.
I'm walking away.
I have to really worry about this one, don't I? I'm gonna have to keep a close eye on you.
You don't have to worry about me, okay? You know my deal of the game. I'm all about fun.
I'm watching you.
Made with a duster. Nice.
Might as well pick up all these ingredients too while we're here.
Ink blots, ink and quill, candelabrum.
Ooh, some garlic.
Just throw it to Asterion. Bed linens.
Okay, so you were also thinking that, weren't you?
Yes, I was. I think most of us were. But I think he was saying like how none of that was affecting him now, though. So it's like, you know, he probably was.
Suspicious poison.
Ooh, potion of healing.
It doesn't look like there's much else. Oh, another potion of healing.
Nice. I'll take the quill.
All right, let's head out of here.
Alrighty. Alrighty. I need to put some things into.
Bit strange for an apothecary to have,
Sent to camp.
Oh, there's some trolls over here.
Hang on a second. Sent to camp. Sent to camp. I'm just sending a lot of different things to camp right now. Add to wares. Shaft of a broken spear. And then sent to camp. One of my moderators can bonk you still. Don't forget this. Alright. Yep. No, I'm good for weight. Alright. Do we want to... Let's talk to them.
Alright, let's go talk to them.
Can I have the
talking to them?
Can I be the talkie maid? Can I
go talk?
Yay. Why is it frozen?
That's a very good question.
I quick saved, and then it just had a moment, so... Alrighty. This ways... I shall leave... Oh, skeleton.
For some reason, I'm in a loading screen.
Oh, probably just
He
picking
was
things
kicked
up.
from the game.
Oh, what? Did you have a network problem? Hang on.
I don't know. I didn't see anything.
Multiplayer invite. Code?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, it says you're not like on my list of friends online in the Steam.
That is weird.
All right, hang on. Let me just save game here. I'll hop out. I'll stop the game and I'll start it back up again. Okay.
Yeah, okay, got it.
All right, cool. And then Baldur's Gate 3.
Game is being strange.
It was a bit of a strange moment. Let me see. Are you online on Steam? Yeah, you're online on Steam. Okay, cool. It must have been something on my side then for all. So, all right. Excuse me, nose. Don't. Excuse me. Alright, so it does its thing. I still don't know who that statue is. Love how it calls me Gene Simmons. Pop, 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 pop. Oh yeah, I can say, yes, I've completed all these different requests. There we go. In combat, hit O to enter tactical view. Tactical view engaged. No, it's still loading. Damn it. Alrighty. Multiplayer. Invite. Code the Yoshi. Yep, still invitation only, which is what we want.
I've been invited to this Grant person's stream.
Ah, have you now? Good luck with that.
I have.
Yes. Huh. Use Windows. There we go. Alrighty then. Yep, and you're controlling your fella as you should. Alright, let's go. Alrighty.
Tastes like
They're eating somebody's hand.
Oh, chicken.
Well, they're tasting something like chicken.
Tastes like fish. Gentlemen, contain yourselves. This quarrel sours our feast. Besides, tastes like pork. And what surprise is this?
I don't taste like any of those things.
Look here. I have eyed yet another prize. Fortune favors our bellies. Stranger, be you friend or food. The mark is her measure. Show is the brand of the absolute.
Oh. Oh, I'll do you one better. Because, like, the brand thingy-majiggy is, like, his eye thingy.
Yeah. You might, yeah, I was gonna say, you might want to add a bonus.
Well, we can roll that again. There we go, that makes more sense.
Indeed. How regrettable that your meat must go unsavored. Food?
No.
Food. Not food. Friend.
Nice. You're quite the articulate ogre.
Yeah.
Am I not astonishing? A robust diet makes for a shrewd mind, you see. I am a gourmand.
Oh.
And you, a delicacy. Were I so lucky?
Wait, was he trying to say gourmet?
Or gourmand?
Gourmand. Thank you for the follow, Dragon. I I saw the notification in my thingy-majiggy, but nothing happened on the screen, I'm sorry to say. Oh, maybe... Actually, was it my... No, it doesn't look like any of that crashed. Alright, hang on a sec. Let me click on settings. Reload overlays. And then if I do this... There we go. Does a little thingy-madoog. Alright. I notice you don't bear a brand of your own.
I've no use for the Absolute, or any god. I follow two masters only.
Because normally, like, the goblins had, like, a little thingy-majiggy in their eye. That's how we were able to, like, trick them.
Goblins understand my appetites. They sate my hunger for gold.
Okay.
And the rest sate my hunger for meat. Boss Goblin give gold. We check brand. Good deal. No talk.
Ow.
He just goes fucking bonk. Forget you should be fighting for me.
I am, by all accounts,
hi, bestest boy.
of higher commerce and extortion. Make me an offer. Tempt me.
Pulls down pants. What?
I'll pay you in the flesh of the fall, and you'll have your fill. All right. Actually, hang on. Character Oh, okay. So she can like go in there if she wants. All right. So if I click on the thingy-majiggy with the guy, what's my check though? Oh.
Oh, can we back out of that?
Not at this point. Oh!
A brilliant notion, and a boon to my aching belly. We have a deal, my tasty kibble.
Nice.
Take my bone.
Oh, Shadowheart approves.
And the ground will quake with my family name.
Nice.
Use it when the need arises, and never a moment before.
Hi there, Angrel. We've recruited these trolls. Cookie.
Well spoken, indeed. Ogre, kill everyone around.
Nice. I've seen few other ogres in these parts.
We follow the sense of blood and gold to all lands fertile, friend.
This is a very articulated sort of troll.
Hello, Angel. How you doing? This troll is also, I would say, very
we will keep
intelligent.
Horny.
When you are ready, sound the horn.
You do be a little
Urchin
bit
pyramid scheme. Oh, what's this? Oh, if I wanted to do something with the cracked beam, I suppose. Oh, and you got inspired because of your noble thingy-madiggy. So I got inspired as an urchin for the whole, you know, being able to. We probably
could have used the support beam and dropped the house on the ogres' heads.
Yeah. The folly and the fall. Though clearly old, this handbill has managed to maintain its bold print over time. For one season only, see the play that sent El Turel's Everlight Theatre into chaos. The sharp-tongued traveling trope presents The Folly and the Fall. A tragedy in 4 parts. Ow!
Thank you, Bestest Boyox, for the tier 1 gifts.
Sausage.
Sub to Kalen Dragon.
Thank you, Bestest Boy! By the by, Bestest Boy, I need an idea for like, cause you know I've got the GIF for like when I do like the big flex and the muscles grow for when someone subscribes. I'm wondering if I should have a different one for gift subs. So like if you do like maybe 5 or something like that, it's a different thingy-majiggy, and then using the current one that I have for like the 1 gift sub. Actually, I probably should do that.
Oh, looks like the goblin camp's ahead of us too.
Oh, cool. All right. Hang on, let me follow you.
There's a bridge just over here.
There's a brawler over there. Oh, he's fine. Cool. He's not causing us any problems. Missing poster.
By the way, I shouldn't have walked over that way.
Ow!
Terrence, Math and Deep.
Why? Oh, I thought.
Kirk.
I honestly thought the. God damn you, bestest boy. Thank you for the 69 bits, but how dare you steal me shirt? Wait, hang on. Wait, no, we can't skip this. Hang on.
What's going on?
There's a bridge we need to get to.
What bridge?
There's a cookie for Bestest Boy. There's a bridge over on this side that we need to get to, because there's a marker that's telling me to go that way.
I mean, I've got multiple markers.
This is an important one because it's saying hunt down Karlach. And I think it's like around here.
Oh, hunt down Karlach.
Yep.
That would be William's quest.
Do we need to stop into make a hug version for the gift sub? Oh, that probably sounds like a. I want to do one for like follows and then, you know, multiple gift subs and such. Because I only have.
I'm currently getting Mystic to do up a few. Well, actually, I had to put him on hold for a little bit because of a lot of bills that came out recently.
Ah, okay.
But I am getting Mystic to do me up a few at some point.
All right, so there's a lot of blood.
Hang on.
Jump.
Oh, I was gonna throw you, but you already jumped.
You can throw your vampire boyfriend.
He's not my boyfriend.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I only have eyes for the daddy druid.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's not here. So
there is a lot of dead hyenas over there.
Something tore right through these people. They didn't stand a chance.
Oh, you didn't have to. I don't think you really needed to kill that hyena. Oh, Knowles.
Yep. I was validated in my thingy-madiggies. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but that hyena, you could have spoken to him.
There we go. And then...
Can't give up.
Alrighty, and then I'm going to move you over here. And then I'm going to give you a concussive smash. Bam! Oh, they saved on the concussive smash. Shove. There we go, they're on the ground. Oh, Jesus, they're really packing up on me.
Yeah, they're pack animals. They all move as one.
I forgot that little tidbit.
All right, keep him there, then move yourself aside once it's your turn.
Oh, there's other gnolls. Oh.
Oh, fuck. See, you had to shoot it, didn't you?
Hyena's going for help.
Oh, all that's...
Move yourself out of the way, and I'll use Burning Hands on them.
All right, hang on a sec. This way?
Probably best towards me if you can.
All right, give me this.
Oh, shit. You may actually get attack of opportunity, though.
Not unless I disengage. So then that way they don't get it.
On my way.
So I move over here.
First things first, I'm going to use the Sturian to take damage on that one.
And then...
The only thing is I'm going to have to be really careful not to hit...
Disengage. Hang on a sec. Do you... Oh, I can't go around that way, so I'll have to go here.
Press on.
Yep.
All right, go.
That's why I like Burning Hands.
It's good. It's do like a thingamadiggy. Alrighty.
Alright, I'm gonna move myself back now.
Yep. All right. And then they do their thing. Oh. Darn. All right. And then unarmed thingamadoogie. There we go. I don't want to test the disengaging. Seething fury, Jesus. Deflect missile. And then that gets closer. Nice. Items do I have? Nice. Hold person, enfeeblement.
Oh, he got poisoned from that. Okay, do not drink Null Blood.
Oh, he drank it. Okay.
Well, I wanted to see what would happen, but no.
Why did you think that was a good idea?
Because it could have healed him or given him extra stat boosts.
I guess, but now he's poisoned, and you've got your guy. Just be able... Probably double back, so like going over here.
1 second.
Not to worries. Oh, you just threw it
Antidote.
Yeah, and you threw it on me too.
Well, it was the only way of getting it over to him.
Nah, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. All right, now they're... What does Seething Fury do?
Onward.
Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Gosh darn you.
Dark Vision, doesn't say. Hang on, it was this guy that used it, didn't it? Seething Fury. Range bruise within the knoll. Once it gives into its fury, it'll be able to attack multiple times per turn.
Couture
Gotta
giving
admit,
it
though, the knolls are kind of cute looking.
They're weird. Alrighty,
cuties. I would boop his snoot.
Null Fang of Yinogu. Soul numbed? What the fuck is soul numbed? Jesus.
That's a good question.
Alrighty, magically change all aspects of your appearance.
Ingram, what do you think? These gnolls look cutie patootie?
There we go. And then...
Angril's a Null fan.
Angril's a Null fan? Alright. Alright, I'm gonna start going this way. And then...
It's pronounced Gnoll. Shut up.
There we go. Gnoll. Angril likes
I
Knolls.
like Knoll one based.
Yeah, they're biased as well. Yay, I had them rolling disadvantage on the rolls. Alrighty. Alright, what's... Can't take bonus actions or reactions, radio. Dunk. Nice. I need to be... Oh, I should have been drinking for heals. I forgot to do that.
Probably would have been a good idea.
Probably, yep. Alright, bonus action.
Maybe have her use her words of
Cure wounds. Oh, she was... The barrel was like... God damn it. I'm an idiot.
Oh shit, me tits.
Yeah, that's a... Oh, and she's nearly dead.
And they're eating... one moment, Pobavor. I am gonna steal some potions off you.
Nope, fair enough. Can you do that while in this?
That's what I'm gonna hope for. Where are boots are your potions?
There you go. 6 of them.
Good girl. Throw. I'm gonna need to hit those two first. Because I'm gonna need them up.
Yep. Actually, Asterion can also, like, do something. So he's got a lot of health. Probably deal with this Gnawer, because they're off balance right now. And plus it would give Shadowheart a little bit of room to be able to, like, maneuver.
It can only do it with his offhand weapon.
Ah, because he got up. There we go.
Thank goodness he can attack twice with an offhand weapon.
Nice. And then Null Hunter is obviously...
Ooh.
And then...
Who again?
Nice. You don't have to worry about Why does he have so many moves?
No idea.
I need healing.
I need a healing goo.
Yeah. Oh my god, you're
Really?
on one. Jesus.
The only thing is, it's probably better for me to throw another healing potion at those two.
Can it reach them?
Well, it hit one.
Okay. Giving him 5.
Too heavy to shove. Shit.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I'm gonna risk an attack if I move. Risking it.
Alrighty.
Enough resources. Okay, I'm gonna have to have him just drink a potion.
Damn it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
And then move his ass over here.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
It's not all coming together, furry cures.
Oh no.
At least we auto-saved at the forest. Alright, I won't shoot the hyena.
Yeah, don't shoot the hyena.
We'll move up the ridge though, because there was like a
Why
ridge.
not try talking to the hyena? You've got animal speak.
I'm worried that if I go in there, then they're all gonna turn into gnolls.
So then have two of us stay back and then go up the ridge. Isn't this why we're meant to share the brain cell?
Yes, this is why we're meant to share the brain cell. Alright.
And move.
Hang on. Hold up.
Alright, I'm gonna check out this random path, see what this does. No, nothing here. Okay. If I do a short rest, I can get my piercing shot and rush attack back.
Can't afford to stay idle.
She gets her heart stopper.
Let's get going.
Does the staring get anything back from the short rest?
No idea.
Swift as my feet can carry me.
I think it's worth doing.
All right, we can get ready to go up the other side. Oh yeah, because I see the gnolls already eating people over here.
Yeah.
So maybe see if you can talk to the gnoll down here, the hyena.
Okay.
F5 it here.
Alright, F5'd.
Now talk to him, and if need be, I can run up this side.
These people, they didn't stand a chance.
Do we want to short rest it?
I already used it.
Go away, or you will become new flesh. I will make you new flesh.
Intimidation time. Did not work. There we go, that worked.
There we go.
No flesh. Flesh hurts.
The creature's eyes roll back in its
Okay.
head, equal parts bliss and
By the looks of it,
agony.
all these hyenas have been infected with the gnoll.
And yet, looking into her eyes, you can see it wasn't
Do we just
enough.
want to try and maybe just walk
She's
past
still
them, or...?
Well, let's see what happens.
See, my flesh becomes new flesh.
F5 it here, and then we'll walk past them.
Okay.
Oh, hang on, you're
Hear
doing
what
something.
comes next
Whoa.
before you see
Okay, you just clicked in there.
sharp snapping of bones and a yelp of pain as her body starts to
Did I?
twist and undulate.
No, I didn't.
You watch with cold realization. This isn't the end of one.
Alright, this is us realizing.
Start of another. Gnolls, vicious, monstrous humanoids can spawn from the corpses of dying hyenas.
Maybe strike it while it's vulnerable?
Yeah. Bloated gives it an due to sickness, +1, +2. Here we go. Oh, nat 20. Do I get this? Yeah, critical success. All right, let's see what this looks like.
You land a swift strike against her skull. She yelps, then goes still.
Nice, we don't have to deal with another
As the
gnoll.
light fades from her eyes, the gnoll within her dies too. stillborn.
I mean, we kind of needed to. I mean, it was the only way to stop them from...
Yep. So they move.
Okay, so they're going to grab the others. So I think one thing we need to do is take care of him.
Well, we also need to take care of... Oh, okay, actually, I see what you mean. Alright, piercing shot. Unless... Trying to think if there's a better... So that does 1d8 plus 3. Actually, I'm going to use... Alright, let's try this. Yep, they're dead.
Which means hopefully they won't summon those reinforcements.
Hopefully
Which means once we take care of these three, it'll be a little easier.
Alrighty, move here.
Watch it. That hyena's going for help.
We already killed them, so...
Let's make this quick.
And then... Oh, cool, a candle.
Oh yeah, light it, then dip your weapon into it.
Advantage.
Yep. Alright, so they're bloated. Alright, here we go.
I'll take out the one in the back end there.
Doesn't tell me. Okay. Alright, dip. Alright, I'm gonna go for this one.
Your soul is in good hands.
And then... Oh, I don't have the bonus to do the thingy-majiggy that I want because I've done the bonus to dip it in fire.
What should I do? Fall, damn you.
When you miss an attack, you deal 1 bludgeoning anyway. There we go. I like that reaction. Alright, this guy's down on 1.
That one's down on 1 now too.
That one's on 12. And they get all their health back. Well, at least that one was an idiot. But of course they have to hit me, don't they?
Let me take care of this one since I'm standing behind it. You take care of the other one.
Birthing gnolls. How horrid.
Alright. At least we can pick up their ears.
Nothing that's born of a woman should be allowed to live.
Grant, did you just do a whoopsie?
It said barrel.
I'm ready. Whatever it takes.
It said barrel, okay?
Looking ahead.
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
Did you have what's-a-mahoozies try and chew one of the... Oh, the caravan agent? Oh, the caravan agent had shipping orders. Deliver the chest to me unopened. Read the first sentence again. Open it and I will know, because you will be dead. This is not a threat. This is what will happen if you open the chest.
Oh my god, he opened the chest and unleashed these gnolls, didn't he?
Let's see. The gate is closed. Commerce and corruption.
Another step forward.
Oh, hang on. Pumpkin. Apple.
What was that?
Apple. Carrot. Pumpkin. Cabbage. Nice. Oh, wait, hang on. Carnival squash. We're gonna have like a whole fucking thingy-madooks. And then...
We're certainly gonna have a lot of stuff in the knapsack, that's for sure.
Yep.
A whole pile of gnoll bodies over here.
Oh yeah, there is. What the hell? Also, what's... Sorry, I'm just sort of like hovering my thingy-madiggy. So there's blood down there. Nothing under that bridge. Yeah. whole ton of gnolls.
There's a dead guy over there too.
Cave over there. Fire,
I'm gonna have a look at-
blood, a lot of fire.
I'm gonna have a look just across the bridge over here and see what's going on with these gnolls.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
Whatever killed those gnolls might be nearby. Careful.
There's an encampment over here.
What is... Oh, wait, hang on. Those symbols. Isn't that, something similar to Shadowheart's, like, thingamadooks?
Almost.
Oh, saving here, so... Something happened here. Dead gnoll.
A lot of dead gnolls.
We can pick up their ears at the very least. They give us a, their requirement for potions of speed.
Wonder if there's anything in the house here.
Where's the gnolls out there?
Nothing we need to
At
worry
ease,
about.
friend. You're welcome to rest here.
Anders. Hello.
Who's there? Please, keep your distance. You're welcome to shelter here, but we've grave injuries to tend to.
Grave injuries. Rest easy, I'll only stay a short while.
Protect you. Be on your watch. There's a devil in the guise of a one-horned tiefling haunting the Risen Road.
Huh.
She slaughtered countless refugees fleeing the Absolute.
Weird.
Yesterday, she butchered an entire family without mercy. We were lucky to survive our encounter with her.
Failed a religion check.
Yep.
She ran toward the river when she saw we were merely wounded, not dead. Down the hill from here.
Okay.
She must pay for her crimes. If you capture her, you will have served Tyr where we could not. This is the sword of justice, blessed by Tyr. I've wielded it since I swore my oath.
Oh, that's a cool sword.
It's all I have, but it's yours if you stop her. Bring me her head, and Tyr will consider her crimes repaid. May the just God guide you.
I'll think about it.
If you want to go poking around in the cellar, be my guest. Plug your nose first, though.
What's down there?
I'm gonna talk to him
Half rotted
myself.
to mush. Must have been down there a 10-day or more. It was a toll house. By the time we arrived, it was more like a
Do you hear like wobbly magic
There's more
while in here?
monsters than coin moving down this
Do.
road.
Something's going on.
There's a locked door down the hatch. Doesn't look like anyone's managed to get in. If there's any gold left, that's where it'll be.
Sounds weird.
It does. I think it's
Should
because
we go and find the tiefling?
I think it's
and
because I
maybe-
can't see it. All right, hang on. Let me see if I can open this door. All right. Lol, I'm wet now.
Eh. Ooh, a baguette.
You're gonna pick up the baguette? Yeah, you picked up the baguette.
Picked up the baguette. The baguette. Do not forget the baguette.
All right, hang on.
There's another door up here. I'm gonna have a look up the top here.
Just leads into there, doesn't it?
Up to the top here. Nope, just a vantage point, I'd say.
Okay.
I say we go and find the Kaladesh and see what she has to say. They said she went to a cave, right?
She went down to a river.
River. So the only river is
like directly down there, I can see.
Well, shall we go down there?
Yeah. Plus, there's like
Might as
blood
well.
and things, so.
Might as well follow the blood.
Yep. Here we go.
Dead toll collector.
Blood. Pile of bones. Hey, look! It's Garnatch.
Kaladesh.
Oh.
Or Karlak.
Running
The Age of
hot.
Silence.
Oh boy.
One horn. This is the devil Will and the paladins of Tyr want dead.
Oh. Try to douse the flames.
Steady on, soldier. That's the stuff.
Ooh. She big.
Oh, fuck me.
Grant.
It's you.
She's got like little...
Lloyd. Please tell me I found you before those so-called paladins of Tyr did.
Firstly, I'd like to know how you controlled those flames.
Easy to ask. Lately, I've gotten used to being called Devil. No follow-up questions. The truth is, well, it's a long story, and I'll tell it, but...
A great heat roars through you. Her heat, fiery as the hells. Then you're lost in visions of demonic armies as you tear through a landscape of fire and blood. The Blood War. You saw it from above as the Nautiloid passed through Avernus. This woman was on the front line.
Ah. I don't know what the Blood War means.
It was apparently in the D&D tabletop game, the recent one that came out, which sort of was a prelude to this.
Oh, okay.
Mountains as far as the eye can see. Guess that explains the voices. From that peek I got into your head, you've made some inroads trying to get the thing sorted. But alas, no joy. I'm Karlak. And you are?
Karlak. Erkin...
Well met, soldier. Now that we're old pals, how would you feel about helping me kill some evil bastards?
Excuse
Little
me?
background, if your moral compass needs something to point at.
Yes.
You already know I fought in the Blood War. I was good at killing demons. Really good. So good, Zariel, the archdevil herself, made me her personal attack dog.
Right.
I played along until I could get the fuck out of there. Took me 10
Icy is
years to
cute,
properly
boo-boo.
escape, but now I'm free. Zariel sent goon after goon to hunt me down. But believe me when I tell you, I'm not going. The latest yappy little dogs she sicked on me are nearby. A group of dopes posing as paladins of Tyr. Want to help me take them down? Fuck yes.
I love how it's just continue. I don't have any other options.
They've gone far after the scorching I gave them. After we've mopped them up, we can work on evicting this parasite and take Faerun by the short hairs. Sound good?
I like her. She looks like she could throw me over her shoulder and carry me to safety.
Ah!
Should the need arise.
Same.
Grant!
I said same! Shadowheart had the idea first. Sounds like a great plan. I'm in.
If it wouldn't scorch your skin off. Hang on, though. Looks like you got enough backup at your side. I'll catch up with you when it's time to camp for now. But don't get to any of the...
Oh, can I talk to you, Rickon?
We probably need to go to camp, I think.
Yes, at some point.
We've just got Will and her at camp now. The guy who wants to kill her is now at camp with her.
All right, okay, all right. Well, let's deal with the paladins first, like she asked, and then we'll deal with one shit at a time, okay?
All right, let me get up the top end here because I think I could take some vantage points from here.
Yeah, if you take the high ground, you should be good, and then I will make my way.
Possibly we should maybe block some of these areas too. Let's see if we can funnel them into one point.
There we go.
I I'm gonna close the shabby door over here.
So
and place this chest in front of it. As well as this barrel should be enough to block this door.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And I'll make my way up here.
Alrighty then. I don't know if you can get to Anders, but you can maybe get to Tyrion. So I'll take a hit on Anders first, okay?
I can knock down this this thing here up top here and knock it down and take them all out. Talk to them first.
Well.
I'm gonna drop the act. You serve the Archdevil.
Lock the doors.
First, I was burned within an inch of my life, and now I'm stuck playing pantomime. I can't take it anymore. Karlach is going back to Avernus, and if she won't go quietly, she dies. It looks like I'll have to kill you first. Which I
You want to drop the thingamajiggy on them?
Bye-bye.
Yep. You might want to move out of the way if you can.
I can't.
Well, not exactly quite what I was hoping for, but it's unlocked the door for you.
Nice. There we go, that's what I wanted. Alright, so he's not properly dead yet. Oh, he's got an aura of protection, that's why.
Alright. In case I need to jump down, I'll feather fall myself. Oh, it's done it for everyone.
Nice. Oh, Cyril the Traitor. That's why we were having, like, some thingamadiggies about that. Okay. Heartstopper. Inflict
Oh, did
chest...
she climb through the window? I'm hoping not.
Chest trauma. There we go. He loses a turn.
Might give me an edge.
Dipped in fire. There we go. So yeah, he loses a... He should have lost... Oh, he loses an action, but not a bonus action. Hunter's Mark.
Careful, that means you'll take extra damage.
Yeah, if she succeeds, so... he can still do bonus. Hit your next melody as an additional... Nice! And he's dead. There we go.
To get... With haste. There we go.
I see what you were trying... He has Featherfall. You could just jump down.
Apparently he doesn't want to just jump down. He's being a dick.
He's being a drama queen. Come on, drama.
Not enough movement.
You got plenty of movement.
Fine, I'll just shoot it with disadvantage.
Alright. Alright, so Tyrell might be trying to get to you.
Well, that's why I blocked the door.
Oh, mirror image.
Mirror image.
Oh,
Yeah,
she's got like
mirror
3
image.
of them, that's why.
Yeah, it means she'll only take out her mirror images first. Probably best to fling it at her.
Yeah, I'm just looking if I have... each increases your armor class by 3. I'm just wondering if there's a... High defense. Nope. Possibly daze. They can't take reactions and are easier to hit. High defense as well. 3 to 30. Alright, I'm gonna try the necrotic shit. There we go.
Ooh, damn.
Oh, and she tried it on the wrong. Oh, and then he shoves him in the fire, you dick.
She's gonna run for that door that I've blocked.
Blood follows me everywhere.
There we go, and then... Alright, was able to do 8 damage.
Can't afford to let up.
Alright.
Oh, I can't reach it while...
And I have no movement there for that one.
Oh, resistant to spells. There must be a way to hold person. I swear I have that. No, it doesn't look it. Path is interrupted. Of course it is.
Heading there.
Can I then do the... Lol, the door was stuck. Oh, okay then.
Now do it.
Missed. Nice. She tried getting away. And then ensnares him. Alright,
I'll strike you down.
there we go. She's dead. Carrot.
We may have to increase our camp provisions now that we have Karlak along for the journey.
Some
Those
medium
muscles
armor we can
don't
give
run on fresh
to,
air, I'll wager. Still, she'll be useful in a fight.
I reckon she has a thing for her. Alright, I'll talk about all you kind of thingamajiggies later. Refugee just has an orange. Where's the what's-a-mahoozy? There he is. He had a long sword.
I've already taken the weapons from him.
Oh, okay, cool. Wait, what about the chick who turned into salt? There she is.
She had some scrolls.
Okay. Neaties. Alright, so that door is out of the question.
It's down here. There's a door down here.
Oh, the ornate hatch thing. That's right. I forgot about that. All right, here we go.
Okay, so lock picking is impossible. So we have to find a switch for it.
What am I to do? Feel my mistress's wrath.
Okay. Deck collector. Oh, you've already gone through the deck collector. Okay.
Let's try this way.
Added armor.
Mm-hmm.
No. Don't see anything here.
Weird.
So the deck collector was by this shelf over here. I wonder if maybe...
Doesn't... Oh. No, I don't see anything.
Alright, well, everyone step back. I'm gonna try firebolt on it.
Alright. Nah, toughness.
Nope.
Toughness is stopping it. Oh, what happens if I light this? Nope.
Maybe we should head back to the camp.
Alrighty then. Back upstairs and not turn-based mode.
Wish to live in more interesting times.
Go to camp. Alrighty.
Oh, why is Gale hurt?
I'll go talk to him. I want to talk to him.
Tiring business, isn't it? All this traveling and adventuring.
You good?
Why don't we take a little break? Allow ourselves a few moments of rest? Gives me a chance to talk to you about something. Well,
sorry, I just had to take a drink.
We've been on the road together for a while now, haven't we? Survived some perils, overcame some obstacles. Ever since you were kind enough to free me from that stone, I've seen you demonstrate remarkable guile and courage.
Right.
The way you diffused the tension between Zevlor and Aradin. The way you stood in front of a crossbow to prevent a murder.
Oh, we did that.
The way you got Korga
Chat
to
has
release
come
the girl.
together and thinks
The way
you
we
should
got
do
that
10
boy out of a
squats during
harpy's
the break.
clutches.
He's listing a lot of things.
I've grown to trust you.
Oh yeah, I gotta do some squats. Hang on a second.
Enough with the flattery. Where is this going?
Alright, I'll go with that one when I'm done with the advertisement in this squats. Big stretch. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm getting flashes of my phone. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
22.
I already did my squats. It doesn't work if I've already done my
44.
squats.
Hut.
I did my squats. Thank you, chat, for the 10 squats. Yes, I did my... Yes, Collins, I did my, I got my rego done. I interrupted the stream. I'm like, okay, hold on a second, because it was like basically a minute to go. Went to the screen, did my rego, and they're like, oh, you're in a queue. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm in a queue. And it started counting down. All right, is advertisement done? Not yet. Another 6 seconds to go. You won't be going, unfortunately. You gotta say for a ring. Why is the first thing that pops into my head as a joke is the other kind of ring? I know what kind of ring you're talking about, but I was very tempted to just be like, press the button and be like, blank. All right.
I was being quite sincere, I assure you.
Oh, you disapproved. Damn it.
The reason I make a point of saying this is that I've grown confident enough to tell you something I've yet to tell another living soul, except for my cat. You see, I have this condition.
Does everyone in this camp have a condition?
Just as deadly.
What kind of condition?
The specifics are rather personal, but suffice it to say that it is a malady I've learned to live with, though not without some effort. What it comes down to is this. Every so often, I need to get my hands on a powerful magical item and absorb the weave inside.
What?
Yeah, you're gonna have to explain that one to me, homeboy.
I can say no more on the matter. Not now, anyway. Just trust me when I say it's all of vital importance. It's been days since I last consumed an artifact, since before we were abducted. It is time. And by that, I mean it's imperative that I find and consume strands of weave at the earliest possible juncture.
Uh-huh. Where do you suggest?
Already done the finding. In fact, you have one in your possession. You know for yourself how hard won such an item was, and it will be no easier when even more are required to assuage my hunger.
Okay, what is this item?
There'll be danger involved, or great cost.
Why exactly would it appear at the end? Why exactly would I risk either of those things for a wizard I barely...
Valid question. If not out of the simple goodness of your heart, then perhaps your own self-interest might be sufficient motivation. Having a wizard like me around is quite the boon when facing the perils.
Because I think his thing is that like if there is a magical thing involved with your item, he then gets the magic. So it's sort of like a wizard copying spells in 5th edition.
Life and death.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'll let you pick that one.
I get a +3, so. Roll the difficulty I needed. There we go.
And then
You
some.
become one with Gale's mind, and you can feel something sinister oppressing you. It's inside of you. A mighty darkness radiating from your chest. You could try to push further, but your hold over Gale feels brittle. It won't be easy delving deeper without him noticing.
Do you agree?
Not risking it.
As luck would have it, you're already primed to give me exactly what I need.
What would happen to this
I
item?
will consume the magic inside. What was a powerful artifact will be rendered no more than a trinket, but it will save my life, even if only temporarily.
I can't help just now.
I mean, we've got a whole bunch of ones that we don't need at the moment, so might as well.
Let me see if I can... Damn it.
I see.
Alright, which ones...
Well, I mean, there's the Moondrop Pendant. We don't really need that.
Which one's the moon drop pendant? I don't have it.
It's one in my...
Oh,
it's one in my inventory.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, you got the Sword of Justice. Oh, thank you for the follow. So, Furanaki and Marie. Nice.
Why don't I talk to him and give it to him?
Okay, you talk to him.
An ally fresh from the hells themselves. That is most gratifying to hear. May I?
Yep, so I'll give him the Moondrop.
Uh-huh. Does it give you... So does it give you, like, an option, or does it open your inventory?
It gives me an option.
Okay.
Oh, it's tied to the tattoo on his chest.
Oh. Oh, yeah, because it was glowing earlier.
That hit the spot. I can feel it work. The magic, it's like a lullaby that sings to sleep the demon inside. A metaphorical demon, I haste to point out, but no less dangerous. And no less bound to wake up again to continue its ravages. Such is the nature of all monsters.
Okay.
Oh, it's not so bad once you get used to it. And, on the plus side, my tower in Waterdeep has never been so free of clutter.
Nice.
Sincerely, though, I understand I ask a lot from you with few answers in return. But in time, all will be told.
Nice.
Lord, I bow to your boundless kindness.
And damn right you do, bitch.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go talk to Will. I want to see what he says.
Gale slurped that thing up like a horse with a carrot. I hope he got what he needed from it.
How does the end up chasing a devil in the hells?
Karlach's fires raged in Baldur's Gate before she escaped to Avernus, as my source told it. And she was planning to return. One of the archdevils.
I've already spoken to him about this, so I'll leave that one for you to speak to.
Devil with pure
Karlach's
fire for a
right
heart.
over there on the other side.
I made my way to Avernus to stop her. She fled from my reach. Even climbed aboard the Mind Flayer ship.
I think we
as it
definitely might want to do a
screeched through the
long
hells.
rest too while we're here.
I followed
Yeah.
his pursuit. I can't bear to imagine the lives Karlach might be taking. The damage.
I'm just absorbed in this right now. Okay.
Yep.
What? Who is this source of yours?
A powerful friend with a keen interest in privacy. I'm sworn to say no more.
Let's move on to
All
other
right.
matters.
Anything more we should discuss?
Does he not realize?
He will when we talk to her, I'm sure.
A most vicious one, in fact. It's made from pure bloodstone, carved from the Galena Mountains just north of the Moonsea. A reminder that sometimes blood must be shed and sacrifices must be made. But that story is reserved for lifetime friends and calmer days.
Nice. All right.
By all means. Anything more we should discuss?
I don't suppose you come across an expert healer in your travels?
I've come to know a fair few village clerics, but none with the skill to pull these worms from our heads. From what I understand, there's a healer called Nettie in the Grove. Perhaps she's got the talent.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'd bet my last coin that the Open Hand Temple in Baldur's Gate could help. Though a fat lot of good that does to us now.
Because we can't get to them. Oh, did I do the... Yep, alright, cool. Yep. Was she over in the castle, or was she elsewhere?
She's right here.
Oh, there she is. Nice, the big lady.
I think you're gonna replace Shadowheart with her, aren't you?
Maybe.
I like Gale.
Hello.
But I'm keeping all my good gear.
Hello! My god, the pecs.
Everything fancy he touches meets a grisly end.
Oh, is that it? That's all you wanted to say?
What can I do you for?
Maybe talk to her again?
I took care of the paladins of...
Did? Wow. That was sound of you. Why'd you do it? You're my kind of people.
They're agents of evil.
Could have been there to watch those Ignots crumble. Then again, hear that?
Ooh.
Infernal engine for a heart. Lets me burn as hot as the hells. Seems to be running in overdrive since I left Avernus.
Interesting that
Won't be
she's
seeing
got
my
like a
mechanic
thingy.
anytime soon, so I'll just make the most of the extra heat. Just don't get too close till I've found a way to calm it down.
How the hell did you get an infernal
High pain
engine?
tolerance and a dynamic duo of truly shitty bosses. But it's a bit early in the game to be getting into tragic backstories. Let's save the Scar show for later.
How'd you find me, by the by, Marie?
Appetite for tragedy. Meanwhile, I'll need to find someone who can tune up my engine sooner
But
rather than later.
Shad's
Believe me when I
Fluff.
say this
Never
thing
never
is
heard of them
hot.
before.
The first time I faced down those paladins, they let slip there was an infernal mechanic in the area. A tiefling. He might be able to stabilize things, if I can find him.
Any idea who he is?
A weaponsmith, huh? Not sure if he's the guy, but I'd love to find out. A tune-up would do this rusty heart a world of good.
All right.
Might as well add it to the party, and we'll go and talk to this Damon guy.
Alrighty. So yeah, I'll talk to Shadowheart, see if she's got anything left to say. Kick her out of the party, and then
Let's
So,
see, what's
Gale
her...
just consumed. Nevertheless, as quirks go, that's a new. The wound on my hand.
I'm just wondering what her...
It never quite heals.
Doesn't say what her
sometimes it
stats
causes
are.
terrible
I think
pain
she's
to
a
rip through.
fighter or... Oh, she's a barbarian.
yeah, so she's a frontliner.
I can feel her influence somehow.
So
I can give her the Sword of Justice.
I think she could use it. Yeah.
I'll try my best. But secrecy is ingrained in me. Lady Shah considers it greater protection than any... I cannot say. Not with what I can recall. But even then, it would not be for me to question her will. Lady Shah has her reasons.
Okay.
It's difficult to say. Sometimes I wonder... I'd like to hope there's more to it than that. Some...
This about her
meaning
arm,
that
is it?
Lady Shah
Yeah, the wound on her hand.
Right. Until then,
That wound on her
all I can
hand.
do is endure.
Okay, and then how can you manage?
It's less difficult than you might imagine when you can't remember life without it.
Aha.
True enough.
Pain is sacred to followers of Lady Shah. Pain will give way to loss, and then to the peace of her eternal darkness. You can tolerate a great deal of suffering so long as it has meaning.
That's a little sad to think.
Journey's
If you're
separate.
sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Fine. I'll be here whenever you rediscover.
All right. So we talk to her, and then come join us, Karlak.
Hey,
Big mommy.
Yes. Come on, we're heading out.
Hell yes.
I love how it's like we're heading out, and then immediately, we're gonna take a long rest.
You might also want to level her up too before we rest.
Oh, she looks cool. She looks cool in her nightwear. All right, so barbarian. So she gets bonuses from. Let me see. Yep, on armor defense. So she still gets the bonuses from not wearing armor, dark vision because of tiefling. Sees up to 12 meters. Reckless attack. Nice. Until your next turn, you have advantage on attack rolls. Also have advantage against you. Can she enrage? I wonder. All right.
Sleight of hand.
You attune
So she gets natural armor, does she?
Yeah. So unarmored defense is basically while not wearing armor, they can add their Constitution modifier to their armor class. So basically.
Oh yeah. So she's got plus 15, so she's good.
Yeah, because you have your normal Dex adding into most armor classes, but then you also add your Con. So this is why, like, whenever I play D&D, I never make Con a dump stat because of segments like those. And then she's got plus 3 strength. Attune with nature and its beasts, inspire your rage, empowering you with thingamadoogies. You can speak with animals for a long duration. Oh yeah, because I had speak animal because of the potion. Violence is both a means and an end. You follow a frenzy. Your rage turns into... You gain frenzied strike and enraged throw. You can also make an improvised weapon as a bonus action, so that's for 10 turns. And then wild magic is when you want to do, like, weird things where it's like, oh, when you enter a rage, releases all magic, and it causes a random effect. I do not want to risk that.
Yeah, why don't we keep her with the rage, maybe?
Yep. Alrighty. Against within 2 meters of you. You use Tiger. You can jump distance increased by... Your movement is increased by 4.5. Foes have disadvantage on opportunity attacks against you, and you can use dash as a bonus. Resistance to all damage except psychic. Yes, please.
Probably not a bad one.
Oh, she gets a piercing. She gets to choose piercings. So you can get like wolf piercings, tiger, elk, eagle. I'm gonna leave her with none. I don't want any other piercing. She's beautiful enough as is.
Unless it was just a standard ear piercing, but it looks like it's all in the nose.
It's like, yeah, I'm fine with her, keeping to, as she is. All right, someone in the camp still wishes. No. All right, who wants to speak with me? Ah, Will. Is he now going to pipe up about her?
Don't know.
Let's see.
The Blade of Frontiers at your calling.
Tell me, how did you come to be the Blade of Frontiers?
My father once said, one does not pursue a champion's life. One merely answers its call. So it was for me. I was hunting near the Cloakwood when I heard it. A child crying out from a lone farmstead. I found him in the fields, flanked by goblins.
Right.
His mother's corpse bled into the soil next to him. I don't remember much of the battle, but I remember drying the boy's tears after. I left him with his uncles. 5 years on, and he's flourishing. If only every child was so lucky.
If only.
I could never save. Whose cries I never heard. In the boy's tears, I finally saw the suffering wrought by the villains of the wild. The Frontiers demanded a blade, and so I heeded.
It's nice to find...
And it's nice to meet someone of your talents. Having a worm wriggling in my skull didn't instill much confidence in the days ahead. With you as my ally, the future looks a little less daunting.
He has a way with words. Nice. Is he still wanting to talk to me? No, cool. Alright.
No? Okay.
Go to bed. Auto select. Full rest. There we go. You still have like the blood red glow going off when we were doing that. It's kind of funny.
It's her, Carla.
Oh, there we go.
Devil's servant. We must rest in camp. It's time she had her due.
Well met. Well met.
Seriously? I can't talk.
I think I need to talk to him.
Okay. For a sec, I wonder what would happen if like Asterion was taken out and then you added in
Oh, okay. So apparently
the Blade of Frontiers at your call. My father once said I found him in the fields by goblins.
I'm gonna kick Asterion out and I'm gonna add in Will and we'll see what happens, okay?
Alright, hang on.
Now's not the time.
You kicked him?
Not yet.
Do you mind?
I can't while you're talking to... Alright.
Oh, hang on. I think I need to boot him.
Do you mind? I'm sure all will be revealed in time, but I don't... Oh, darling, I'm hurt. I guess...
He is such a fucking drama queen. Alright, now ask for Will. I'm gonna go pet the doggo. What are you doing up there? No. Oh my... I'm gonna pet you. Scratchy, 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 scratchies.
Alright, I'll level him up.
He's a warlock, right?
Yeah. Hex is always useful.
Yep. I can't see what the level up screen has, so I'm just like trusting on you.
Eldritch Blast, you add a charisma modifier to the damage. Yep.
Yes. Warlocks are charisma-based spellcasters, so that's always a good one if they've set their stats up right. Alright, do we have any cool rapiers?
You can see normally in the darkness. When you hit a creature with Eldritch Blast, you can push the creature... Okay, that one. Warlock level 3. Blindness, Cloud of Daggers, Crown of Madness, Darkness, Hold Person, Invisibility, Mirror Image. That's probably not a bad one to have.
Is there some place I can send the food?
Pack of Chains, you gain the service of a familiar, a fey spirit that takes a form of your choosing. This animal can be imp animal or beast. Pact of the Blade is probably better suited to him, I think. You can summon a packed weapon, bind the one you are wielding, making it magical. Packed weapons use the wielder's spellcasting ability modifier instead of strength or dexterity.
Double check his bonus stats. See if his strength or dex are less than his charisma. Just in case.
Yeah, they're less.
Okay, then, yeah, let's have it so Relic Weapon will help, because I think he does, like, a number of melee things, so... Sent to camp.
Pact of the Blade. Yeah, talk to him again. Inertia Stone Eye.
Just trying to get rid of as much of this. There we go. What was that roll?
Insight.
Weird.
Right, so why is it he wants to speak, but now nothing?
Who knows? We'll probably get something once we,
Maybe group her with you too, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Alright, ready to go?
Busy
Yep.
times. Maybe later.
Alrighty. Camp. Leave camp. Hey, look at that. They both have a thingy-majiggy. Let's see what happens if I talk to Karlak first.
So, hey, we've got this soul coin, right? Thing is, I think I can use it. My engine can, anyway. Zariel
Neat.
used to top me up every now and again when she wanted me to go after an especially wicked target.
Uh-huh. You got a coin slot in your heart?
Sort of. Next time we find ourselves toe-to-toe with something we want to squash, drop a coin in. See what happens.
I'm expecting I just drop it in between her boobies. Like I just go, ka-ching.
Fuck yes. Now I just need something to sink my teeth into.
Save it for, like, a fun battle. Boobies! Oh, you're talking already. Okay.
Well met.
What?
Hey, he just doesn't want to do anything.
Now's not a good time. My hands are full. Maybe another time, yeah?
No, that's annoying. Also, I'm still hearing, like, the magical swirly nonsense. Wait, why did the magical whirliness stop? Is that you? Oh, that's...
Yeah, no, I was trying to see what would happen with the
Easy
bind
times.
pack weapon.
Maybe later.
I guess at the moment they can't do anything. I'm gonna go back to camp and get a Sturian.
Okay.
What a charmer.
Is that blood? No, never mind.
Huh, coming back.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. I better give the big mommy lady the big sword.
Ah, yeah, you were supposed to do that a while ago.
Oh, and I'll give him that dagger you pulled out too.
Yeah, I threw it into his inventory, I believe. Yeah, that,
Yeah, you did.
yeah, okay, cool. Now he's...
No. I'll pop it in her inventory. You're gonna have to give it to her.
Oh, okay. Yep, can do. Alright. How did that do for... Because 1d12 plus 1, 2d6 plus... Yeah, no, this is a... Actually, hang on. If I drop this here... Plus 1... Yeah, this is plus... Yeah. That sword makes
I wonder
sense.
how her clothes would look on me.
Best be on my way.
Stretched.
Are you saying I'm fat?
Yes.
Fuck you.
Isn't that like your whole like icon thingamadooks?
You mean my whole ideal?
Ideal, like, motif.
That's curious.
Oh, hello, a burrow hole.
I'm way too big. Way too big.
Cirrus, we can't go into a hole.
Well, I mean, we are way too big.
I guess we're way too big.
We might want to actually consider calling it soon, because I'll need to get ready to head off.
8:40. Oh, yeah, because we need to finish off early. Alrighty then. Alright, so traveling thingamadoogies there. Oh, hang on. Here's a portal thingamadoogie for the Risen Road. Alrighty then.
Because we also will need to head back to the Blighted Village a little later on, and then go after Aslan.
Yes. So yeah, because we've got find the missing shipment. Oh yeah, that was one of our missiles.
Accident or sabotage?
Do you want to see if we can try and get those gnolls, like the ones that were like higher up the thingamadoogie, out of the way?
Yeah, might as well.
So yeah, because... Alright, so we've got this... Oh, this you can actually explore into. It's not like an entirely different cave. Alright. Let's try this way.
A lot of oil and blood.
Hang on.
Alcohol.
No. Back away. I'm gonna use that to break this thingamajiggy. Back away.
I think maybe you want to do this.
Yes. Although I think you burnt a ladder. Yes, you burnt a ladder. Hopefully that wasn't anything important in there. How long is...
Looks like there's just a wooden crate up there.
Okay. Wouldn't cool to check, but okay.
Oh, whoa. Stop. Big boulder.
I accidentally clicked into her when you're like, stop, big boulder. You mean this boulder right here?
Yeah, and you just failed a perception check.
This one. It was already there.
Be wary.
Tripwire.
Okay, that one's a bit more important. Oh, you already did the...
Yes.
Okay.
And you set it off.
I didn't think there would be another one. I didn't know there was going to be another one. We literally just, like... We just, like... I'm sorry.
And now there's alcohol and blood everywhere.
Alright.
Be more careful.
I thought the trap got disarmed and such. I didn't think there was going to be another
It wasn't
one.
fully disarmed yet.
It said successful, I thought.
Yeah, but only after I click away from the screen does it properly disarm.
Oh.
Oh, there's these guys here. Find the missing shipment.
They're just throwing fire.
Get over here and help! If we don't deal with them gnolls, none of us are getting out of here alive. Across the chasm? You might have got in that way, but you're stuck with us now.
Alright, I'll deal with the gnolls.
Me and the boy will do what we can to help. We've still got some fight in us.
Just lobbing fucking...
He's got a short crossbow. Firstly, before we even go in there, I need to heal.
Alright.
You know, because someone decided to send a boulder down after me.
Do you want me to, like, go back to a previous save?
No, it's fine.
Alright.
Let's just try not to send any boulders down after me.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you need to heal too.
Yeah, I wasn't able to do that, so...
Nice shot.
Thank you.
Take the leader down! We'll try to hold the rest back!
Oh, there's a lot of these. Wait. Could there have been a boulder?
No, the boulder was the thing that we set off earlier.
Okay. Ow.
Yeah, I think we may need to reload.
Let's see how we go. There's a lot of them. Oh, a lot of them are.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Alright, so there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Jesus Christ, guys, the warlord. This guy here, 85 health.
Oh. we might need to do some.
We might need to do some grinding and come back here.
All right. Or do some jank.
Now it's a good time to call it.
Nah, fair enough. This might be a good time to call it. You're right. I'll get some music going off in the background and get us over into the chat thingy-madoogies. So yeah, because there was like an autosave before we went into that cave as well, so we're in an okay spot as far as like, you know, all the different...
Yeah, but before somebody decided to send a boulder down on me.
It said disarm successful. I thought that's what had happened. All right, I am going to quit the game because that's the autosave, so we'll be able to continue on from that. And what's more is like literally a minute before then as well, I did a manual save, so we'll be fine there. But yeah, that was some. I think other than that misstep with the boulder, I think we did a fun time. So I reckon we did all right. So yeah. Alrighty. So yeah, I will be back online tomorrow night because that's my MMO night, Saturdays and what have you. I'm probably gonna sleep in. I'm gonna be real with you. When will chat have a chance to see you again, Code? I'll give you a shout out.
Sunday. So I was gonna do I was gonna do Divinity Original Sin 2 on Sunday. But I'm actually gonna move over to doing the closed beta for Palea.
Palea, what? Sorry?
Palea.
Palea. An online game is a bucolic life simulator that focuses on players hanging out with their Is this like supposed to be sort of like what's
it's a farming game?
Like Animal Crossing.
Sort of. So there's farming, there's a little bit of adventure stuff. It's free to play. You can either play on your own or play with others.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I got an invite to the closed beta. So yeah, I'll pop the link in here for anyone who wants to have a look at the news for it and maybe consider signing up yourself.
Nice. Okay.
And I can refer a friend.
Ooh. Save that for because I don't have a lot of like experience, and you were like responsible for gifting me Baldur's Gate 3, so you're good for like another year before you have to be like, here's
it does multiple friends. So if I refer a friend, I get a you get a cat ear cap. 2 friends gives you a plushie. 3 friends gives you a hoodie. 4 friends gives you a decoration for your farm, and 5 friends gives you some sort of hang glider.
Okay. All right. So there's a benefit for trying to get like multiple thingamadoogs then. Multiple peeps.
I know a few peeps who I think might have fun with that, so I'll send the link to some people.
Alrighty then. Let's have a look at who we want to raid. So there's a number of people on. Some people are sleeping. I don't know why VTubers do this, where they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm sleeping on stream right now." I'm like, "You're a VTuber.
Wait, who's sleeping on stream?"
Like, it's a subathon thing that like Ludwig started, where like he was stuck in his like the room that he was streaming in and such, so he would be sleeping on stream and what have you. I've seen some VTubers doing this, and what ends up happening is like you're just sort of seeing their PNG or something, and then there's like a roll of maybe some of their stuff in the past. I kind of understand why we might want to try during a subathon seeing an IRL person sleeping and what have you. Like I can kind of understand it. I don't 100% understand it for VTubers when they're PNG, 2D, or 3D. I don't really 100% understand why we would do that, because then their model is just stuck there, because tracking is even on the best days, tracking is not perfect and you have to be exaggerant. So how in the world are you supposed to accomplish that while sleeping?
Yeah. So Geralt is doing some Final Fantasy.
Ooh, hang on a sec. They're doing some really weird Final Fantasy. I have no fucking clue what that raid is, but it looks cool.
The big beetle thingy from the just end of the not Stormblood. What was the one before Storm? No, Stormblood DLC.
The Omega?
Yeah, the Omega weapon.
I got told by Velk I could just ignore that because it wasn't that as great as like any of the the Alexander or the Crystal Tower or anything like that.
Yeah, though you'd still probably want to do some of the story for it though, for shits and giggles.
Alrighty then. Alright, do we want to go raid into Geralt then?
Might as well go raid into Geralt.
Alrighty then. Did you have an idea for a raid message? Because I was like thinking D&D Night with the boys.
Yeah, just do that.
Alrighty then. Alright, let's get our raid sorted, and it's going to be D&D Night with the boys with a capital. Boys. Let's see. Is there any emotes?
Doilies.
Let's just go with Twitch raid. Because I don't have like an emote that's like just for raiding purposes. So, oh hi there, Nyx Husky. I'm sorry, we're about to end stream and raid into Geralt. I'm sorry to say. Alrighty then. That is going to be it for me. Code. You're gonna be going off to what's Mahoozies and such. Yep, fair enough. For everyone else, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. I'll be back online tomorrow night for MMO night, and I hope you all have a good evening. Bye for now.
Bye.